USA and your Exxon retailers present Southwest Conference Football. Southwest Conference Football. All the play-by-play action. Brought to you on radio by Exxon Company USA and your nearby Exxon retailers. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. This is Dave Smith with Connie Alexander and Jim Wickett speaking to you from Kyle Field, College Station, Texas, where for the 82nd time, Texas A&M meets the University of Texas. And for the 42nd year, Southwest Conference Football is brought to you on radio by Exxon Company USA and your Exxon retailer. A very special welcome this afternoon to our men and women of the armed forces who are tuned in over more than 400 stations of the American Forces Radio Network. And to our friends in Alaska who are listening also this afternoon. Welcome. We're glad to have you. Well, fog has covered this entire part of Texas since early morning, hampering both air and automobile travel. Visibility in many areas was near zero earlier this morning, and at this late hour, remnants of that shroud still hang over Kyle Field and the area. The sun has tried to break through on numerous occasions since before noon, and at the moment seems to be enjoying at least some success. There is a warm front to our south, a cold front to our north, neither moving very rapidly at the moment. However, all of these factors may cause some rain showers during the progress of this afternoon's contest. Freezing temperatures were recorded here earlier in the week. However, this morning's low was a comfortable 52 degrees. Currently, the mercury rests at 74, and that may well be the high for the afternoon, what with the cloud and fog cover. Relative humidity is in the high 70s. The elements have combined to make for a fairly comfortable afternoon in the stands for the fans at College Station, save that prospect of moisture during the next few hours. The wind, however, could cause some problems with the passing and kicking game on the surface of Kyle Field. It remained almost calm during the early morning hours. However, it is kicking up a bit now from the south-southeast at about 12 to 16 miles an hour. It's a quartering wind blowing from our far right to our near left, and no doubt will come in for some consideration during the pregame meeting of officials and representatives of this afternoon's contest when that takes place moments from now. When Kyle Field is full, it seats 48,100 football fans. Estimates for today's attendance range as high as 57,000, well over capacity. Extra seats have been placed everywhere possible. And if that figure of 57,000 is reached indeed, it would be the largest crowd ever to view a football contest at College Station. Previous high attendance was on October 25th of this year, when 53,693 football fans sat in the rain to watch A&M defeat Baylor. We'll continue with the pregame activities in just a moment. Well, on our near sideline here at Kyle Field, on the near west side, is Jim Wiggins of the Exxon Football Network, who this afternoon will be taking care of the ground chores for us. Jim, let's go down to you now and tell us what the situation is at this jam-packed football stadium.
Well, Dave Smith is a man from Mars. We're dropped into Kyle Field right now, completely ignorant of the game of football and a rank stranger to this particular strain or virus of November illness that's called football madness. I'm still betting he could feel the tension. He'd know without anyone telling him that this is a major social event. It's a high point in the lives of the students of two great universities and the teams that are competing in a sporting event of national importance. Dave, you can see it in the faces of the players. You can feel it in the stands among the fans. You can hear it in the air. I was in the Texas dressing room just before the game calisthenics started about 15 minutes ago, and everybody was talking in whispers. There's a hushed atmosphere, almost of reverence as they approach this contest. It's A&M versus Texas, the Longhorns versus the Aggies. It's a Thanksgiving spectacle that has thrilled countless millions of people for 81 years. Now, it doesn't matter that you didn't attend either school. Today, you choose sides. There's no neutral corners. All of the ingredients are here for the most dramatic, the most pressure-packed, exciting football confrontation, perhaps in the history of the series. Both teams undefeated in conference play. Both teams ranked nationally. Both teams headed for bowl games. Both teams finally coach home to a razor edge. You can feel the excitement. I can feel it here on the field as I look at this colorful crowd. The cheers, the bands, the teams, the colors, the pageantry, man, this is something else, Dave. There's some great football rivalries in the country. Some are older, some that probably attract larger crowds, some that perhaps command greater headlines or broader press coverage. But believe me, for sheer excitement, for a deep down, dyed-in-the-wool, double-dipped excitement, there's no other game in the world like it. Dave Smith, back to you in the booth.
Jim, it's 74 degrees outside temperature, and of course when it's that warm, the temperature rises somewhat on the surface of that artificial turf down there. Have you had an opportunity to ascertain the temperature on the playing field?
Dave, we hit two thermometers here over against the stadium wall. One registers 77, the other 78. So they're 1 degree apart. They're in the shade. The breeze that is blowing on this side has still a little bit of a cool air to it. I'm going to estimate we did not place one on the AstroTurf because of the direct rays of the sun, but I'm going to estimate that it's a good full 10 degrees warmer there than over here. But let me point out one other thing, Dave. Compared to the Cotton Bowl Stadium on the day of the Texas OU game, we're having a cold wave.
Jim, let's go down and talk to Darrell Royal for a few moments, one of the two participating coaches in this afternoon's game, this 82nd meeting of the Aggie-Texas tradition, played traditionally on Thanksgiving Day since 1966, but moved to Turkey Day +1 just last year and again this season, and destined to become a Saturday affair from next year forward, when Houston joins the tussle for the football crown, necessitating major changes in Southwest Conference scheduling. And we'll ask you in a moment, Jim, to visit, if you will, with Darrell Royal and Emery Ballard, if you can catch them for a moment. Followers of A&M and Texas football fortunes have, through the years, looked upon this annual classic as their own special kind of bowl game. And indeed, more often as not, it has been just that. For of the 39 postseason Cotton Bowl games played, the winner of this late November contest has hosted 17. The Aggies, all told, have played in 8 postseason football games, the Longhorns 22. Regardless of the outcome of this 82nd contest between the two, both are destined for another bowl part this year. If Texas prevails this afternoon, they'll hold all of the marbles and will be headed for the Cotton Bowl for the 7th time in 8 outings. If they lose, they'll play 9th-ranked Colorado in the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl December 27th down in Houston. The Aggies yet must face Arkansas a week from tomorrow. The loser of that contest will play Southern Cal in the Liberty Bowl at Memphis, Tennessee. Texas A&M and Arkansas then, along with the University of Texas, all will have postseason action awaiting them at the end of their 1975 campaign, with one of them hosting Georgia's Bulldogs in the Cotton Bowl on the first day of our country's bicentennial year. It was this annual Aggie Longhorn Classic that produced the first play-by-play radio broadcast of a football game in the state of Texas. It was Thanksgiving Day 50 years ago that General Ike Ashburn, former Texas A&M commandant, set up shop here at Kyle Field and with mic in hand broadcast the first play-by-play description of a football game in the state of Texas. The record books show A&M won it 28-0 over Texas. Just 8 years after that first broadcast from the stands at College Station, the Exxon Football Network was born. And this afternoon, on the occasion of the 50th anniversary of football play-by-play in Texas, the largest number of radio stations ever to carry this annual Aggie Longhorn Classic are tuned in. Over 400 stations of the American Forces Radio Network are carrying the broadcast, along with 29 stations in Texas, Arkansas, and New Mexico, and KANC in Anchorage, Alaska. And the Mutual Broadcasting System is taping this broadcast this afternoon. Parts of it will be played back later. And what with the nation's 2nd and 5th ranked football teams teeing up, it ought to be quite a fitting game for this golden anniversary of football broadcasting in Texas. All right, Jim, let's talk to Darrell Royal for a moment.
Dave, we have Coach Darrell Royal of the University of Texas here. Coach Royal, it's a big day, I know, for the University of Texas and for Texas A&M, for the coaches. We have some questions. Is Marty Akins in good shape for the game?
Well, he's not in good shape because he had a knee injury in the TCU game. We feel that he'll be able to start, and we're just going to have to play it from down to down and see how it goes from there. If he's not ready to go, we're going to get Constanzo in there immediately.
Do you approach the A&M game any differently from a coaching standpoint than, say, the OU game or any of the other regular season games, Coach?
No, everyone's a big game, and it kind of depends on the circumstances and the situation. but it's very seldom that you match up this late in the year, two teams in the top 10, and number 2 in this case, it's of Texas A&M, and we're all the way up to 5. So that in itself, regardless of who you play, makes it a big matchup.
Do you consider the Kyle Field location especially advantageous for the Aggies?
Well, sure I do, but I also consider Memorial Stadium advantageous for the Longhorns. And it's only fair that we come over here this year. They had the disadvantage last year. They have the advantage this year.
You think that both teams playing in a bowl game will have any bearing on the outcome of the game?
Absolutely none. I think the conference championship being at stake is a factor, but you don't need much more incentive than just Texas A&M and University of Texas playing each other.
Thank you, Coach Darrell Royal, and lots of luck to you and the Longhorns.
And how true that is. What an exciting afternoon this is going to be for one of the largest crowds and perhaps the very largest to ever witness an Aggie-Texas football game at College Station. Coach Darrell Royal and his orange and white University of Texas Longhorns will be taking their seats over on the east side of Kyle Field in just a few moments from now. And you'll hear a cheer as they come onto the field, and on our near west side will be the Texas A&M Aggies in their maroon and white. Jim, let's hear from Coach Emery Ballard of the Aggies.
Dave, we have with us the coach of the unbeaten, untied, nationally ranked Aggies of Texas A&M, Coach Emery Ballard. Coach Ballard, your team in good physical shape for the game.
We're in good physical condition. We've got one fellow that won't be at full speed, Craig Glendening, the reserve offensive tackle. Other than that, we're in good shape.
All right, so the Aggies have been playing the record-breaking crowds this year. Has this given you boys a psychological boost?
It always helps to have good support. And, of course, we've always had good support, but we've had a great deal of interest in our football team, and the Aggies from everywhere are supporting us in great style.
Coach, you've seen this game from both sides of the field, having coached at Texas for 5 years, and, of course, you've got a lot of friends in the conference. Do you have any mixed emotions at all about this ball?
Not a damn one.
You drew up the wishbone formation of the University of Texas, which they have used most effectively. Does your familiarity with this particular type of attack, you think, going to help in defensively?
No, I don't think that's a factor. I don't think they've got a good knowledge of the wishbone also, which is what we run. So I don't think that's a factor in the football game at all.
Coach Ballard, we thank you, and the stations around the world and the American Forces Network are pleased to hear. I'm sure there are many of the Aggies and those stations all over the world tuned in, and I know they join me in wishing you the very best of luck.
Tell them thanks.
Thank you.
Okay, the number 2 team in the nation, the Texas A&M Aggies. The number 5 team in the nation, the University of Texas Longhorns. You've heard from their coaches, Darrell Royal and Emery Ballard. The teams are here. Some 57,000 football fans are jam-packed into 48,000-seat Kyle Field for this 82nd meeting between these two great Texas schools, the University of Texas and Texas A&M. For the first time in 32 years, the Longhorns and the Aggies brought with them this afternoon perfect Southwest Conference season records. Both teams have met and defeated all comers in the loop. And except for Texas' single loss to Oklahoma, both have perfect scores against all comers. The Aggies, the second-ranked team in the nation, number 1 in rushing defense. And right now, across the way, and the eyes of Texas. From 13,000 Texas football fans. That's the number of tickets sold at Austin 2 fans in the Austin area, and there are several thousand more of them here this afternoon, making up the expected 57,000 football fans jam-packed into Kyle Field. We've heard the eyes of Texas, and now let's go to the Aggie band. more football fans here than have ever seen a game at Kyle Field. The press box here on the west side is absolutely filled to capacity. We've heard from the big Aggie band, the Texas band, two of the nation's finest university bands. And now the invocation by Mike Marchand, the corps chaplain at Texas A&M from Fort Worth, Texas.
Heavenly Father, bring us back to a faith that makes us strong, a faith that enables us to love and to live, and a faith by which alone we can walk close with you. Speak to us, Lord, through our circumstances, and open the doors of opportunity and success in our lives. Be with the members of each team here today, and give them the strength and stamina to play to the best of their ability. Guide us all safely homeward at the conclusion of today's game, and be with us throughout the coming holiday season. In your name we pray. Amen.
Ladies and gentlemen, our national anthem. The 322-member Texas Aggie Band, under the baton of Major Joe T. Haney, played our national anthem. Our nation's colors were hoisted to the top of the flagpole to our right, or to the south end, or to our right. The playing field runs north to south, from our left to our right. That 12 to 16 mile an hour wind that we were talking about is coming in from our far right to our near left. In other words, from the southeast, and will be blowing really from our right to our left down the playing field. And for the most part, it seems at the moment to be blowing directly out of the south, Connie. The Aggies, the second-ranked team in the nation, number one in rushing defense, bring with them a season record of 9-0 for the year, with the Arkansas Razorbacks still facing them a week from tomorrow at Little Rock. The Texas Longhorns, the nation's fifth-ranked football team, and the country's leading scorer, averaging over 35 points a game, and one of the country's leading ground gainers, they're 9-1 for the year, having lost only one game to the Oklahoma Sooners. If Texas wins this afternoon, they'll host Georgia in the Cotton Bowl on the first day of the new year for the seventh time in 8 outings. If the Aggies win today, then roast the Arkansas Razorbacks on December 6th. They'll go cotton bowling for the second time in 9 campaigns. If A&M lassos the Longhorns, then falls to Arkansas, the championship would be in a three-way tie with Texas, Arkansas, and the Aggies. And since they haven't been to Dallas since 1965, and A&M and Texas have, the Porkers then would host Georgia on the first day of the new year at Dallas. Regardless of how this afternoon ends, and who prevails in Little Rock just a week from tomorrow, all three, Texas A&M, Texas, and Arkansas, will be involved in postseason activity. One will host the Cotton Bowl. Another will play in the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl. The other will visit the Liberty Bowl at Memphis. The University of Texas Longhorns have come to the near east side in their orange and white uniforms, and here come the Aggies. To their benches over on the east side, dressed in solid white traveling uniforms, white jerseys, white pants, an orange numeral on the jersey, a white helmet with orange trim. On our near west side, the Texas A&M Aggies in their traditional maroon and white. Maroon jerseys, white numerals, white pants, maroon trim, a white helmet with maroon trim on the helmet. Well, it won't be too long now, and we'll be ready for this 82nd meeting between Texas A&M and the University of Texas, two of the country's oldest football teams. And it's time for a station break right now. A reminder that this broadcast is authorized under rights granted by the 8 schools of the Southwest Athletic Conference to Exxon Company USA. It is intended for the private enjoyment of our audience. Any recording, recreating from, retransmission, or other use of the broadcast without express written consent of Exxon Company USA is prohibited. The play-by-play and color announcers for this Southwest Conference football broadcast are selected and paid by Exxon Company USA. We pause now for station identification.
Exciting Southwest Conference football, Spurs ABA basketball action, and NFL football, all on WOAI San Antonio.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to tension, excitement-filled Kyle Field on the campus of Texas A&M University at College Station, where we await moments from now the kickoff in this 82nd contest ever between these two fine schools. The officials for this afternoon's contest will be Ken Faulkner, the referee. Marvin Durenberger is the umpire. The head linesman will be W.C. Coleman. The line judge is Roland Goss. The field judge is J.D. Rowland. And the back judge this afternoon will be Tim Hatch. This annual football classic between the Aggies and the Longhorns is one of the oldest in America. It got started back in 1894, the first year of the manly art here at Texas A&M, the second on the Texas campus at Austin. The Longhorns were the very first college team the Aggies ever met on the gridiron. Their first opponent was Ball High School of Galveston. Then along came the Longhorns. The Aggies are the 5th football team and the first college team the Longhorns ever faced on the gridiron. So you can see, when these two old war horses get together, there's a bunch of pride and tradition involved, and never more than this afternoon when both are ranked high in national ratings. In the 81 contest preceding today's, the Longhorns have prevailed with 58 wins to the Aggies' 18. 5 have ended undecided, with 3 of those being scoreless affairs. This is the 31st meeting here at College Station, and here the margin narrows a bit. The Longhorns still hold a small lead, 16 to the Aggies' 12. 2 of those 5 ties have occurred here at Kyle Field. Darrell Royal coach teams are 17-1 against the Aggies. His only defeat came in 1967. Aggie head mentor Emory Ballard came to College Station in 1971 from Texas, and this afternoon is looking for his first win in 4 outings against the University of Texas Longhorns. The officials have met at midfield. The coin has been tossed. Texas won it. They will defend the south goal to our right. They'll kick off to the Texas A&M Aggies to our left at the north. The field, remember, running north and south from our left to our right. Our point of vantage and yours for this afternoon's 82nd meeting between the Aggies and the Longhorns is atop the west stand. Well, this is the final year for 8 schools to compete for the Southwest Conference crown. The bicentennial year of 1976 will see the University of Houston on the scene as an all-sports contender in the Southwest Conference. The Cougars were voted a share of the membership for all sports except football and basketball, beginning with the 1972-73 athletic year. Because of advanced scheduling in football and basketball, they could not begin competition in these 2 sports until this year, when they will compete for the basketball crown, and next year they will have begun participation in all conference activities when they'll have the first shot at the conference football championship. The last new member of the loop was Texas Tech, voted into the league in 1956. It was not until 1958 that they began competition in the conference in all sports but football. Their first loop football competition was in 1960. The teams are on the field. We're ready for this 82nd meeting ever between the Longhorns and the Aggies. The stadium is packed. The tension and excitement is high. Here to describe the play-by-play action is Connie Alexander.
Thank you, Dave Smith, and hello, everybody around the world. This is one of football history's all-time classic games. It's approximately 45 seconds till kickoff and counting. College Station is like Grand Central Station of old. It's not just capacity. It's not just standing room only. It's an overflow of some 9,000 spectators. Approximately 30 seconds till kickoff and counting. The nation's number 2 and number 5 ranked teams
the nation's top scoring team against the nation's number 2 defense against scoring. A team that has rushed for 43 touchdowns against one that has allowed only 2 touchdowns on the ground. America's number 1 defense against America's number 5 rushing team. Approximately 15 seconds till kickoff and counting. The sun and the clouds have been fighting a battle. The sun was winning for about 30 minutes, and now it seems to be losing. The clouds have a bark, I think, that's bigger than their bite, however. The temperature is 74 degrees, and it's about another 10 seconds or so until the opening kickoff of this grand old game. The wind is attacking today from the southeast, and out here it seems to be a little more from the south at about 16 miles per hour, and it will definitely be a factor this afternoon. The University of Texas won the toss, and they elected to take the wind, which will be a factor on the kickoff. The Texas will be kicking from the south goal to our right, and the Texas Aggies will be receiving at the north goal to our left. We are getting close to the opening kickoff now, and the 2 deep backs for Texas A&M receiving at the north goal to our left. Skip Walker at the goal line toward the far hash, and Carl Roaches toward the near hash. We're down to 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1, and kickoff by Ertzleben, and it's a rainbow arching 80 yards with the wind for a touchback. It'll be Texas ball, 1st and 10 on the 20 after the opening kickoff. And the Aggies will operate on the offense from their own 20, and listen to this crowd. 13,000 from the University of Texas and about 44,000 from Texas A&M. And man, if you don't have high blood pressure right now, you must have a leak somewhere. You better have it checked. Okay, here are the Aggies from the line of scrimmage in a wishbone. They're looking at a 4-3 front. Up the middle goes Woodard. Up Broadway for 4 yards to the 24-yard line. Stopped by the inner sanctum. Defensive left tackle Brad Shearer. Defensive right tackle Robert Rickman. And middle linebacker Lionel Johnson. And they are going to plant the ball on the 23-yard line of Texas A&M Italy. 2nd down and 7 to go. In the Aggie backfield, Mike Jay at quarterback, Bubba Bean and Skip Walker the halfback, and Big George Woodard, 245 pounds at fullback. They're in an I formation with a slot to the right against a 4-3-4, 4 across. Here's a pitch to Bean. He hands it off to Roaches going the other way around left end. He's on the 20, 25, and 30. He's got blocking to the 40, to the 45, to the 50. He's still got blocking to the 40. He leaps over a blocker down at the 35, and then he is caught at the 31, and knocked down on the 29-yard line at the far sideline of the University of Texas. Before Fred Sarshay and Lionel Johnson made the tackle. The play goes from the Aggie 23 all the way to the Texas 30-yard line. It was an I formation with a pitch to the tailback Bean, who came to the right side. Roaches a split end from the right side, went around left end, circled the flank of the enemy defense, and rolled for 47 yards. 1st and 10 for the Aggies out on the 30-yard line. It's a split 4 defense against the wishbone. And there's the inside belly power to the right tackle with Bubba Bean, knifing inside the 30, and he gouges out 4 yards down to the 26-yard line of the University of Texas. Rick Finlaw and Rick Burleson come in to repair the crack at that point. Robert Rickman also in on the tackle for the University of Texas Longhorn defense. We're in the 1st minute and 15 seconds, and there's no score. Carl Roaches and Mike Floyd are shuttling back and forth between the Aggie bench, carrying messages from Coach Emery Ballard. Up and over the ball to center Mark Tennant. And behind him, quarterback Mike Jay, split left end. Split 6 defense, 6-1 it is. It's an option keeper to the right by Jay. He pitches out. It's to Bean, sweeping the right end of the 25. And he's chopped out of bounds on the Texas 21-yard line by the roverback Fred Sarshay. A senior from Cleveland who knocks him across the near line, and they bring it in just outside the 21-yard line of the University of Texas. It'll be 3rd down and a long yard to go. 3rd down and an obese yard for Texas A&M, just outside the Texas 20-yard line at the near hash mark. The front 7 for the Aggies are Mike Floyd, Glenn Bujnock, Bruce Welch, Mark Dennard, Frank Myers, Dennis Swilley, and Richard Osborne. Mike Jay, the 5'11", 180-pound quarterback, calling the signals. He gives it to Woodard, who slants at left guard. He finds daylight. He's inside the 20 to the 18 for the 1st down. Big Finlaw and Robert Rickman consummate the tackle for the Texas defense, but the Aggies own a 1st down on the Texas 18-yard line with 13:22 to go in the liftoff quarter of a scoreless game. The wind moving into the faces of the Aggies, who are rolling on the ground. There have been no passes, no turnovers so far, and no scoring. A minute 42 gone. Texas with a 4-man front. It's a pure 4-3. Strong safety up toward the slot. Here's the inside belly off left tackle. Skip Walker, the right half, slashes, slants down to the 16-yard line. and then is met by a storm of Steers headed by Finlaw, Rickman, and Lionel Johnson. Johnson, one of the top tacklers last year, 122 tackles this year. Finlaw leads the team in tackles with 127 tackles this year, 6 of them behind the line of scrimmage, 20 against Oklahoma. The ball on the 16-yard line of the University of Texas, 2nd down and 8 to go for the Texas Aggies. Ranked number 2 in America, the Longhorns ranked number 5. Up to the line of scrimmage, Dennard is ready to snap the ball. They're in an I formation slot to the right. Skip Walker is in the slot. Here is a counter dive to Walker in left guard. He gets to the 15. Head-on collision flag on the play. He is hacked backward about 3 yards as he got to the 15 for forward progress. Finlaw and Burleson collaborated for the tackle. Illegal motion is the signal now against Texas A&M. The snap was from the 16-yard line. Illegal motion signal from the referee, Ken Faulkner, would indicate a 5-yard sentence on the illegal motion rap, but now the University of Texas defense indicates they will decline the penalty, and that will bring up 3rd down at the 15 of Texas and 7 yards to go for a first. The ball is almost halfway between sidelines on the Texas 15. It's 3rd down, 7 to go. With 12 and a half minutes remaining in the first quarter, there's no score. Frontal deployment for Texas. It's 4 men up there. Now it's a split 4 or split 6 defense. Wishbone backfield. Here's the option to the right by Jay. He turns outside his end, gets down to the 13, and is buried. He is enswathed in Texas tacklers led by Rick Burleson and Brad Shearer. Shearer with 98 tackles. The penetration to the 14-yard line of Texas, and it's going to be 4th down and 6 to go. 4th and 6, and the place kicker comes on. Tony Franklin comes on. He has kicked 10 out of 20 field goals from as far away as 59 yards. He kicks barefooted. He'll be kicking from the 21, 31 yards into the wind from the near hash. It's on the way. Trajectory looks good. Direction looks good. Distance looks good. It is good. And the score is 3-0. Texas Aggies. A 31-yard field goal by Tony Franklin opens the lid on the scoring. The Aggies lead 3-0 with 3 minutes and 14 seconds elapsed. And now here is Dave Smith.
That's the first time in 5 years that the Texas team or the Aggie team has taken the kickoff in this meeting between these two schools in the opening moments of the game and held on to it until they got to the other end of the field. For the last 5 years running, the team taking the kickoff has lost the ball in turnovers. That was a 31-yard field goal by Franklin. The score is A&M 3, Texas 0, 11:46 remain to be played in the initial frame of this 82nd meeting between the Aggies and the Longhorns. Connie?
All right. The Aggies will be kicking off into the wind. Tony Franklin kicks him barefooted. He gets tremendous power. And the 3 deep backs for the University of Texas are Alfred Jackson at the far side, Braylon Wyatt in the middle, and Raymond Claiborne at the near side. And they stand along around the 5, 6, 7-yard line. And up close at the 15 or 16 is Joe Bob Bazell. Now, the Texas on the return will frequently attempt the crisscross return, where everybody meets at one intersection somewhere down around the 15. 4 guys meet at one point, and then you try to figure out which one has the ball and which direction he's going, and that is not easy. Here is the kickoff by Tony Franklin. It's a low-line drive, goes to Bazell at the 20, goes back to the 16. He finally hands it off to Claiborne, going to the far right, to the 20, the 25, the 30, the 35, the 40, the 45, trying to get a block at the 50, cuts inside, to the 40, slips on the 39, and falls down on the 36-yard line of the Texas A&M Aggies. Reggie Williams was the man responsible for closing up the ball. It was Alfred Jackson who came up and faked as though he were getting the ball from Bazell, and then Wyatt came across, and finally Claiborne took it from the left side of the field to the right for a 48-yard return down to the Aggie 36-yard line. Oh, that was something else. 11:35 to go, 11:35 to go in the first quarter, 3-0. Here come the Horns to the line of scrimmage for the first time this afternoon. Wishbone, split right in. Akins running the option. He pitches to the 35, down to the 31, and drops his Jimmy Walker. Let's see, he lost the ball, but I believe it was dead before he lost it. At the 31-yard line of Texas A&M. The ball is still in possession of the University of Texas as Willie Thompson, the right quarterback, marketing major from El Paso Burgess, made the stop. A gain of 5 by Marty Akins, who pitched out to Jimmy Walker, who's rushed for 307 yards this year. And Akins has gone out of the game, and Constanzo comes in. Akins whose knee has been questionable, playing today with a brace and heavy tape, is out after the first play, and Ted Constanzo, the freshman, is in at quarterback for Texas. Big factor in the game. Here's the flag as Graylin Wyatt takes it on the inside belly through a big hole to right tackle to the 30, and he hacks inside the 25 to the 23-yard line. And Lester Hayes, the left safety, knocks him down. Charles Wilcox and Billy Gordon opened the hole. There was a flag on the play, however. There was enough yardage for the first down if the play is allowed to stand. But it may be negated by an infraction, we'll see. Yes, here comes a penalty against the University of Texas from the spot of the snap, and it's a 5-yard fine for illegal motion. It moves the ball back to the Aggie 36, where the sequence of downs originated, so it'll be second down, and it'll be 10 to go for Texas on the Aggie 36. In the Texas line, Tommy Ingram, George James, Will Wilcox, Billy Gordon, Charles Wilcox, Bob Simmons, and Alfred Jackson. Ted Constanzo at quarterback, Earl Campbell, the fullback, right behind him. Here's the snap. And a hand to Graylin Wyatt on the inside belly off right tackle. He's inside the 35 to the 32-yard line. Ed Simonetti and Lester Hayes make the tackle. Simonetti, Ocean Engineering major, has 99 tackles. That's his 100th tackle of the year. It made 48 of them unassisted. It'll be third down and 6. Texas on the Aggie 32. Texas trailing 3-0 with 10:15 to go in the liftoff quarter. The ball about 20 yards in from the near side of the playing enclosure. Jackson splits 12 yards off the right tackle at split end. Constanzo keeps the ball. He's on the 30. He drags the tackler a couple of yards and falls on the 26-yard line of the Aggies, and he will be close to a first down on that third down attempt. The nose of the ball is just outside the 26-yard line. It looks like the stick is right on the 26, and referee Ken Faulkner says, let's measure it. We're going to bring in the first down gauge. That was the third down try. We've got the binoculars now as they stretch it out. Let's see if they got it. They're a little bit short. Just about a quart low, and it's going to be fourth down. And just inches needed for a first down. 9:48 left. Akins is standing on the sideline, but appears to be in some kind of pain. He's the starting senior quarterback for Texas. They're operating with a freshman quarterback, Constanzo, who brings them to the line of scrimmage on fourth down against an 8-man line. It's a gap 8. Here's a flag. A handoff to Campbell, the bread and butter man, who goes to about the 25. A flag on the play. That was on fourth down. Campbell got enough for the first down. If the play is allowed to stand, he knows it just inside the 25-yard line of Texas A&M. Referee Ken Faulkner still conferring. He's the presiding judge today, holding court. Now he picks the ball up at the 26, and here is a penalty against the Aggies. And that will be a first down. The Aggies were offside. Somebody was trespassing in the neutral zone. The penalty takes it from the Aggie 26 to the 25. Sets up a first and 10 for the University of Texas. They break from an oval huddle between the 25 and the 30 of Texas A&M. The Aggies using a 4-man front. There are about 4 linebackers. Hand off to Campbell, slashing at left guard inside the 20. He cracks and hacks down to the 17-yard line of Texas A&M. Ed Simonetti and Robert Jackson on the tackle. Jackson was a junior college All-American 2 years at Henderson County. A third tackler was Blake Schwartz of Houston Memorial. We're sweating here in the press box. It's hot on the field. I went out and walked around the field about 20 minutes before kickoff while the sun was out. It was very warm then. The clouds have moved back in. It's shady now. The ball is down on the 17-yard line. Second down and 6 to go for Texas. And the ball is given to Jimmy Walker. There is a fumble. The ball rolls out to the 20-yard line. And Texas A&M recovers. There was a fumble as Constanzo tried to hand off to Jimmy Walker on the inside belly off left tackle. And it was recovered by Robert Jackson as the ball bounced out of a melange of muscle, rolled out into the wide open spaces, and Robert Jackson fell on. No, it was Ed Simonetti. It was Robert Jackson who fell on it as though it were a gold nugget, and the Aggies have the ball at the 20-yard line in Texas Aggie property. 8 minutes and 53 seconds to go in the first quarter. The score 3-0. The Texas Aggies lead, and they have title to the ball once more. They're looking at a split 6 defense. The rover back up toward the slot. It's a wishbone backfield. And there goes Woodard storming up the middle to the 20, to the 25, to the 26-yard line. Big George Woodard gouges and gashes the Texas line, and Bill Hamilton, natural sciences major from Las Cruces, New Mexico, with 109 tackles, makes the stop at the 26-yard line of the Aggies. It'll be second down and 4 to go for the Texas Aggies at their own 26. Ernest Lee in for Robert Rickman at defensive right tackle for the University of Texas. Texas with a split 4 front. Or split 6 that gives them a basic 8-man line. There goes Skip Walker on the power off left tackle from right half, and he gets out to the 29, maybe close to the 30-yard line before he is stacked up by the Royal Wrecking Crew. Rick Finlaw and Bill Hamilton, the duo leading the defensive charge, and the nose of the ball is just inside the 30. About 6 inches inside the 30. It'll be third down, 6 inches to go for the Texas Aggies. They're moving into the wind with 7:58 to go. We're playing in the first quarter of play. There is an official timeout downfield. And they're going to bring the chains out for a measurement. Chain gang coming on. Here is the stretch, and it is shy by 6 inches. Some miscellaneous statistics. The Aggie defense has held opponents scoreless in 25 of 36 quarters this year. The Steers have allowed only 57 points in the first 3 quarters of their 10 games. All right, here are the Aggies. Third down, 6 inches to go just inside their 30. Ball equidistant between sideline. Wishbone against a split 6 defense. The ball is handed off to the fullback, Woodard. He cracks for the first down as he finds the seam on the guard tackle hole on the left side across the 30, nears the 32-yard line. Rick Finlaw and Brad Shearer whacking down at that point. And let's see where they're going to put the ball down. It's a little closer back to the 31, the nose up in between the 31 and 32. First and 10 for the Aggies, they're 31. In ball control this year, the Aggies have had the bacon almost 55% of the time. Texas 50 and 4/10%. All right, it's a split left end. It's a split 6 defense. It's a 3 deep secondary. There's a handoff on a fullback dive, and big George Woodard tries at left guard, and he fights his way to the 33, maybe the 34-yard line of the Texas Aggies before Lionel Johnson and Ernest Lee run him aground. George Woodard, a high school All-American, a freshman this year, 6'1", 245, 9'9" speed in the 100, got to his own 34. It'll be second down, and it'll be 7 yards to go for the Texas Aggies from their own 34. Roaches splits out at left end. He's about 8 yards off 253-pound tackle Bujak. Here's the lead option to the right, and the pitch out to Bubba Bean. He juggles it, takes the 35, the 41, the far side, the 45, the 50, and pushed out of bounds somewhere in the near midfield. It was back at the 45 that he was out of bounds. He went on downfield another 10-15 yards. They never got him down, but Fred Sarche was responsible for causing him to hit the boundary line at the 45 of the Texas Aggies. George Woodard with a good block downfield as Bubba Bean took it on the speed or lead option to the right side. With the fullback, instead of hitting ahead on a fake, he came for a kickout block to the right side. It was an 11-yard gain and an Aggie first down. First and 10 to the Aggies on their own 45-yard line. They lead 3-0. They send Mike Floyd to split left end against a pure 4-3 defense. Inverted right safety. Wishbone backfield. Hand off to the fullback. He smashes and slashes to the left side. And he gets out to the 49-yard line. And then there is a tremendous web of muscle at the 49 of the Texas Aggies. A mass of humanity. Tim Campbell, Rick Finlaw, Lionel Johnson, Brad Shearer of the Texas defense made the stop, and the nose of the ball is just inside the 49-yard line of the Texas Aggies. It'll be second down and 6 to go for Texas A&M. Ballard's bunch from College Station playing before a hometown crowd. The stadium holds 48,000. There are about 57,000 here today. It is second down, 6 to go. Aggies at their 49, split left in. Wishbone configuration of the backfield. Walker off left tackle. He's got a hole. He's at the 50 down to the 47-yard line of the University of Texas, and then caught in a man slide and swept backward. Paul Jett and Bill Hamilton collaborate for the Texas tackle on the 47-yard line of the Longhorns. And from that point, it'll be third down and 2 to go for the Texas Aggies. The Aggies in maroon jerseys. The rest of the uniform is white. The Texas threads are white with burnt orange trim. 5:57 to go in the initial quarter. 3-0. The Aggies lead on a 31-yard field goal. Adrian Ford for Sarche at Rover back for Texas. Texas in a pure 4-3. Inverted right safety against the wishbone. Here's an option to the right by Jay. He breaks the tackle on the 48, the 45 to the 40. Spins away with the tackle to the 37, goes to the 35, and then is dropped to the 34-yard line of the University of Texas. And Mike Jay gets another first down for the Texas Aggies on the Texas 34. And Dave Smith, how's the first down battle shaping up so far?
That gives the Aggies a total of 5. The University of Texas has 1, Connie.
Okay. 5:36 remaining. in the first quarter of action, and the Texas Aggies are on the move after recovering a Texas fumble at their own 20, and they have driven the ball down to the 34-yard line, and it's 1st and 10 in Texas real estate. Split 6 defense against the wishbone. There goes Bubba Bean and Bubba Boogie to the 30-yard line. Adrian Ford, a senior from Aldine, general business major, makes the tackle, assisted by Lionel Johnson, an All-America linebacker in high school, plays middle linebacker for Texas. He's from Winfield, Louisiana. The ball is planted at the near hash mark, 53 feet 4 inches in from the near side of the quadrangle on the 30-yard line of the University of Texas, where it'll be 2nd down on a short 5 yards to go for the Aggies. The Aggies lead 3-0. They split their left end. Floyd to the far hash. There's a snap to Jay, a handoff to the big fullback Woodard. Woodard goes up, gulps, and he gets to the 26-yard line as he cracks over left guard. Tim Campbell makes the tackle, a freshman from Tyler. Now listen to the statistics on Tim Campbell. He has made 16 tackles on kicks. He has 97 total tackles. He has pressured the passer 27 times this year. He's sacked the passer 13 times. He has recovered 5 fumbles and caused 3. A freshman, Tim Campbell. It's 3rd and 1. The ball on the 26-yard line of the University of Texas. And there goes Woodard with the ball, and he cracks across the line of scrimmage, turns on the power to the 20, down to the 18, and another Texas Aggie first down. As Mark entered the center, and Frank Myers, the big right guard at 249, opened the way. They got the getaway blocks, and Tim Campbell and Rick Finlaw finally bulldogged the big fullback George Woodard, who is 6'1". He high jumped 5'10" in a track meet last spring. It's 1st and 10 for the Aggies at the 20-yard line of the University of Texas as the sun comes out brightly for a moment now. There's a handoff to Woodard, and Woodard blasts at left guard, and he slants and slashes down near the 17-yard line of the University of Texas. And Rick Finlaw, the journalism major from Amarillo, the leading tackler for Texas, makes the stop. The sun is coming out now, and it's shining very brightly. The temperature about 74. The wind is between 16 and 20 miles per hour from the south into the faces of the Texas Aggies. I don't remember a pass so far this afternoon. 3:33 to go in the first quarter. 3-0 game. Aggies lead. Here's the spread option to the right, and the pitch to B. He's on the 15. He's on the 10. He's on the 5, and driven out at the 4. Adrian Ford finally drove him out. I'll give you an instant replay on that. The snap was taken by Mike Jay. He started to the right. He did not fake a dive. The fullback came to the right also on what you call a down the line or a lead option. Mike Jay tipped it out to Bean. He followed a good block by Skip Walker and turned the corner down the near line to the Texas 4-yard line. Now Texas backed up to the 4. They're in trouble. They're at the end of their rope. They're going to just have to tie a knot and hang on. They set up a 6-5 goal line defense. It's 1st and goal to go. Aggies on the Texas 4. There's Skip Walker through a hole. He cracks down to the 2. Turns on a burst of power to the 1. That's as far as he can get to the 1-yard line. Adrian Ford turns on the stoplight finally after Paul Jett and dimmed it a little bit. And so it was Skip Walker who is carried this year for 349 yards, taking it to the Texas 1-yard line. Texas backed up to the precipice, painted into a corner. 2:56 to go in the first quarter. Aggies lead 3-0. Here they come in a wishbone against the 6-5 goal line defense. Jay calling signal. 2nd goal from the 1. There's some activity. Flags falling like confetti. And looks like there might have been a snap of the ball. The whole play, the whole line of scrimmage moved backward a little bit. We'll wait for the official signal. There was an over-anxious Aggie and a 5-yard penalty against the Aggies. Moves them from the 1 back to the 6-yard line. That could be a critical play. Illegal procedure signaled against the Texas Aggie offense. So it's 2nd down and goal to go. The ball on the 6-yard line. The Aggies lead 3-0. They're down on the Texas 6 with 2 minutes and 46 seconds remaining in the opening period. The Aggies lead 3-0. Rick Burleson, Brad Shearer, Ernest Lee, and Tim Campbell. Part of the defense for the University of Texas. Wishbone. 6-man front. It's a 6-5. Jay keeps the ball. Pitches to Bean. He dodges the tackler. Tries to turn the corner. He's driven out of bounds to the neighborhood of the 6 or 7-yard line. We'll have to see where they mark it as he came over toward the near boundary. It's a little difficult to tell. He may have gotten inside the 5. There's a crowd of people and photographers along there, and they're going to bring it in at the 4-yard line. Brad Shearer was responsible for the tackle, 245-pound sophomore. 98 tackles this year. It's 3rd down goal to go for Texas A&M. On the Texas 4-yard line, the ball at the near hash mark. Gary Hack in at tight end and Richard Osborne at tight end. So the Aggies will be playing at 2 tight ends as they beef it up. 2 tight ends, about 2-foot splits in the line. Jay is going to throw a pass. Cocks his arm, pulls the trigger. Bullseye! Touchdown! The tight end, Richard Osborne, went down and out and was all alone in the isolation area for a touchdown just under the goal post. And with 2 minutes and 22 seconds to go in the first quarter, the score is now Texas A&M 9, the University of Texas nothing. And Texas has only 2 minutes and 22 seconds of wind left in the first quarter. There'll be a tie 9-0. And the PAC man will come in to try the extra point. He's only flunked 4 out of 29 tries this year, the freshman Tony Franklin. The barefoot kicker from Fort Worth, David Shipman, will hold, and Franklin will kick into the wind. It's on the tee. It's on the way. And on the board. Texas A&M 10, Texas nothing. There's a call timeout on the field with the score. Aggies 10, Longhorns nothing, and here's Dave Smith. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. This is Dave Smith with Connie Alexander and Jim Wiggins. The Texas A&M Aggies have just gone ahead 10-0 over the Longhorns with 2 minutes, 22 seconds left to play in the first frame. Connie? Tony Franklin kicks off. It's a line drive, quail high, then wiggles down to the goal line where Graylin Wyatt picks it up just behind the goal, kills it for a touchback. Let's rattle old Jim Wiggins' cage. Jim, you got any news down there?
All I want to tell you, Connie, is the fact that you mentioned the wind a little bit earlier, 12-16. There's no question it's the fact that that first field goal actually got, the wind got control of it. It was kicked beautifully, although it did not go end over end. It curled from right to left through the goal line, but the wind is a greater factor than I think we thought. Connie?
All right, here comes Texas to the line of scrimmage, and Marty Akins is back in. He steps back to pass. He cocks around. He's in trouble, and he's down back on the 15-yard line. Hit on the right shoulder and knocked down. Garth Tenaple was the first man to hit him. Blake Schwartz made the defensive scene also, and they're going to put the nose of the ball outside the 15, near the 16 of Texas, a loss of 4, as Marty Akins dropped back to try to pass. He has hit 30 out of 55 for 449 yards before today. Southwest Conference All-Academic, playing with a heavily taped and braced right knee. 2nd and 14 for Texas at their own 16. They're in a broken wishbone. And the ball is given to the fullback, Campbell. And Campbell dynamites it right, going across the 15 to the 18-yard line. And then he is caught in a cloud of muscle and dropped mainly by Ed Simonini and by Jimmy Dean. And it looks like Campbell may have been shaken up. He's on his feet slowly, walking back toward the huddle. Big Earl Campbell looking at his right arm. He got the ball to the 18. It'll be 3rd down and 12 for the University of Texas. Now we're getting a timeout called by the officials, an officials timeout. Well, we mentioned a little earlier that in previous games this year in ball control, the Aggies have had the bacon almost 55% of the time, Texas 50 and 0.4%. And here in this first quarter of play, the Aggies have really dominated the ball. In the turnover category this year, the Aggies have lost 24 and gained 30. Texas has lost only 21 while collecting 43 enemy turnovers this year. But interestingly, in this game, there's been only 1 turnover, that by Texas, and the Aggies took it 80 yards for a touchdown, and they lead 10-0. Based on analysis of comparative scores against 5 mutual opponents, the Aggies have fared 0.4 of a point, repeat, 0.4 of 1 point better than have the University of Texas Longhorns. That's against mutual opponents. Texas starting 3 linebackers have 358 tackles in 10 games this year. This game boasts 2 genuine 300 horsepower north-south runners in Earl Campbell and George Woodard, the opposing fullbacks. The Aggie defense has allowed only 7 touchdowns all season long, 2 on the ground, 5 by air. They're ready for play. Many of the fans rising to their feet. Now 3rd and 12, Texas in a broken wishbone. 3rd and 12 at their 18. Here's the option with Akins pitching to Walker to the 20, the 25. He is hit on the right shoulder at the 30 and driven out of bounds at the 30 and a half, and he's got a first down for Texas. Jimmy Walker, the petroleum engineering major, gets the second first down for Texas. That was a critical 3rd and 12 play. That could have been one of the big plays of the afternoon. Jackie Williams, All-Southwest Conference safety man from Plano and a cousin of All-America, Pat Thomas, made that tackle. They bring the ball into the nose of it on the 31 of the University of Texas. A All right, here comes Texas to the line of scrimmage. They have a slot bone to the right side. Alfred Jackson split 20 yards to the right. They hand it off to Campbell at left guard. And Campbell chops out to the 34-yard line. Jimmy Dean, the defensive right tackle, and Garth Tenaple are the two lads who apprehend the runner. There's a flag on the play. Offside is signaled against Texas A&M. There was a gain of about 3 yards on the play. So the Aggies will probably take the penalty as Edgar Fields, the Aggies' defensive left tackle, has been shaken up. Now here's the penalty against the Aggies, 5 yards for offside. Moves it out to the Texas 36, where it'll be 1st and 5. The A&M defense, best in the nation, faces two of the country's most powerful ground machines this week in Texas and next week against Arkansas. So it's going to be 1st and 5 after the penalty. Texas ball on their own 36. 58 seconds to go in the first quarter. They break the wishbone. They flex the left end. Flag on the play. A pitch to Jimmy Walker around left end. Breaks the tackle on the 40. Up to the 45. And flips down at the 49-yard line of Texas. May have stepped out of bounds back around the 43. But there was a flag back along the line of scrimmage. Offside signal now against Texas A&M. And the penalty is refused by Texas. William Thompson was the man who effected the entrapment. And the ball is going to be placed down just inside the 44-yard line of the University of Texas. 1st and 10 for University of Texas Longhorns. 50 seconds to go in the first quarter. Texas A&M leading 10-0. Edgar Fields back in at defensive left tackle, 250. The front four for the Aggies, Tank Marshall, 258. Edgar Fields, 250. Jimmy Dean, 261. And Blake Schwartz, 233. And the three linebackers, Simonini, Jackson, and Tenaple. Now they form a 6-1 with a 4 across secondary against the broken wishbone. Another flag. And Aikinson's passing deep down the middle and overthrows Wyatt down on the 25-yard line. Flag on the play. Braylon Wyatt, the left halfback, headed downfield. It was 1st and 10 for Texas just inside their 44. Offside has been signaled against the University of Texas. It was a long incomplete pass on a play-action pass, a fake by Aikens. Then he dropped back about 3 yards behind his tackle and fired with the wind. Here's a 5-yard fine against Texas. Back to the 39 for encroaching on the neutral zone. They were offside. That incomplete aerial stopped the clock at 45 seconds remaining of the first period. The score, Texas A&M 10, Texas nothing. Texas A&M ranked number 2 in the polls and Texas number 5. It's the slot to the right side, a split left end for Texas. And there is Campbell churning and twisting over the 40 to his own 42-yard line. Tank Marshall made the primary contact. Robert Jackson came along to finalize the tackle. Charles Wilcox and Billy Gordon opening the hole. It's at the 42 of Texas. It'll be 2nd down and 12 to go. In the Aggie defense, the front 4 and the 3 linebackers are called the forcing unit, while the 4 deep secondary is labeled the containing unit. Okay, wishbone, it's broken. There is a flanker to the left, a split end to the right. Aikens pitches out to Braylon White. He's in trouble behind the line of scrimmage. The swing through the backfield. He's tackled back on the 38-yard line for a loss of yardage. As 2 Aggie defenders strung the play out, and Garth Tenaple made the first hit, and then Pat Thomas came along, and they put the ball carrier down to the carpet on the 38-yard line of the University of Texas. And that's the end of the first quarter with a score, Texas A&M 10, Texas nothing. Hello again from College Station. This is Connie Alexander with Dave Smith and Jim Wiggins, and now some of the noise from the stadium. All right, as we go into the second quarter of action with Texas trailing 10-0, they'll be facing 3rd down at their own 32-yard line and 16 yards to go for a first. Now they're moving in.
That puts them on the scoreboard with the first touchdown of the ball game. Texas has thrown only once. They did not complete the pass. So there have been 2 passes thrown, 1 complete. The Aggies have 7 first downs. The Longhorns have 3 first downs.
Here come the Texas Longhorns to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down and 16 at their own 37-yard line. Aikens back to pass. It's a throwback. It is complete at midfield, and he is down at the 49-yard line of Texas A&M, but he's shy of the first down. Jackie Williams making a key tackle, and the receiver was Tommy Ingram, a big tight end, and Akins is down back on the 24-yard line. Akins, who has been playing with a heavily bandaged right knee, is stretched out on the ground, and the trainers are working over him. The ball is down on the Aggie 49. It'll be 4th and 2 to go. There is a call timeout on the field with a score, Texas A&M 10, Texas nothing, and here is Dave Smith.
The cheer you hear is for Marty Akins. He was knocked down to the surface of the playing field at the 25-yard line at the north end. Jim Wiggins, come in and give us a report if you can.
It looked again like they were favoring the right knee as the trainer, Frank Medina, and two of his assistants were out there, and they actually helping Marty Akins off the field on the far side, and of course balls from both sides of the house for this quarterback for the University of Texas. All right. One other comment as time allows. We'll get back to that in a moment because we're going back to play. Connie?
Hey, Jim Wiggins, it's 4th and 2. Texas on the Aggie 49. And they're in a punting situation. Hertzlave in their punter. Gets a helmet high snap, kicks it into the wind. Nose up spiral, coming down on the 20, trickling to the 15, toward the boundary line, and being killed out on the 12-yard line of the Texas Aggies. Steve Collier's the man who goes down and kills it. 37-yard punt. Jim Wiggins, I don't think you quite got through. Back to Jim Wiggins.
Connie, I wanted to mention the fact that not only is this game a sellout with them stacked to the rafters, loaded to the gunnels, but it's been for a long time. There's 6,000 seats set up on what would be the cinder track, and I talked to some of those people a little bit ago. Most of them ordered their tickets last April and May. It's been a sellout since that day. Connie?
All right, they put the ball down on the 13 of the Aggies, 1st and 10 from that point. Here's power play up the middle. George Woodard, the big fullback, cracks straight ahead, and he gets to the 15-yard line of Texas A&M. Ernest Lee and Brad Shearer chair the containment committee at that point for the University of Texas. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go for Texas A&M at their own 15 as the sun comes out once more. When the sun comes out, the field heats up pretty rapidly because it's AstroTurf. When the sun is in, it's not quite as warm. Walking around the field, Jim, I noticed before the game that you can't tell as much about the wind on the field as the flags would appear. So at low level, it's not much of a factor. Here is Woodard going to the right. He's in trouble behind the line of scrimmage. A human island in an ocean of Texas muscle dropped back around the 13-yard line. Hit first by Brad Shearer. The firm of Brad Shearer and Paul Jett. And another Texas defender makes a tackle for a 2-yard loss back to the Aggie 13, and it's 3rd down and 10 to go. 3rd and 10 for the Aggies on their own 13 at the far hash mark with a minute 35 gone in the second quarter. The Aggies lead 10-0. They're in an I formation with a slot to the left to the wide side of the field against the 4-man front. There goes Bubba Bean from the tailback, flashing to the left side, and he gets down to about the 15. That'll be all. It'll bring up a punting situation for the Aggies from their own 15. Bill Hamilton and Brad Shearer close the muscle gap, and the nose of the ball is just inside the Aggie 15-yard line. And the punter, Mark Stanley, comes on. 5th in Southwest Conference punting. He's launched 50 for an average of 39 yards. He'll be kicking with the wind. Raymond Claiborne, 4th in Southwest Conference punt returns, drops back to his own 40 to run it back. Good shoulder high snap. The kick is away. A long spiral. Claiborne waits. He's got it on the 36. He drops it, picks up on the 35, runs laterally to the 40, the 45, the 50, cuts to the right of the 45, and down to the 40, takes it on the 35, goes to the 30, the 25, to the 20. He's to the 15, to the 10, to the 5, and he scores for Texas! Gentlemen, Raymond Claiborne has done it for Texas. It was a 50-yard punt. He fielded it on the 36. He dropped it, picked it up on the 35, and then he went along the far sideline and rambled 64 yards for a Texas touchdown. And a player from either team is knocked out and lying on the AstroTurf here. Our spotters are trying to identify them. There are trainers around players of the injured player from each team, and we cannot see the numbers. 12 minutes and 28 seconds remaining in the first half. The score, the Texas Aggies 10, the University of Texas 6, as Raymond Claiborne went for the touchdown. Raymond Claiborne, who is known for unveiling those long returns for TDs. The shaken-up Aggie is Mike Williams, a quarterback, a 5'11", 180-pound sophomore. who is coming off the field with an assistant trainer on either side of him. He is limping on his right leg. The Texas lad still shaken up. Raymond Claiborne returning the punt as the punter, Mark Stanley of the Aggies, out-kicks the coverage. Paul Jett is the Texas lad shaken up. He gets up and trots off the field. Maybe just had the wind knocked out of him. He jogs off. Looks like he feels pretty good. We have 2 minutes and 32 seconds gone in the second quarter, and now Russell Ertzleben will attempt the PAT. He's 36 for 43 at the PAT line. Costanzo will hold. Oops, some activity before the snap. Flags on the play. An officials conference, a penalty parlay, illegal procedure signal against Texas A&M. We're on the conversion attempt, the ball on the 3. The score is 10-6. Illegal procedure signaled against the Aggies, and the penalty is declined by Texas. Now, they would have had an opportunity to take a penalty down to the 1.5-yard line and maybe go for 2. But they declined the penalty, and they're going to go for 1. Costanzo will hold, and Ertzleben will attempt the kick from the 10. The snap, the tee, the toe. Uno. It's 10-7. Texas A&M 10, the Texas Aggies 7 to the orchestra pit. Okay, Dave Smith, come in.
Okay, Connie Alexander, and what a run back by Claiborne. 64 yards on a 50-yard Aggie punt to put the University of Texas Longhorns on the scoreboard. The point after effort was good. It's now Texas A&M 10, the University of Texas Longhorns 7. And Connie, this is a real seat squirmer that we're watching here at Texas A&M this afternoon. A packed house, enthusiasm like we've never seen before at any football stadium. The 82nd run of this meeting between the University of Texas Longhorns and the Texas A&M Aggies. We want to ask our good friend Jim Wiggins down on the sidelines in a moment about the hitting. Man, I tell you, you can hear that leather all the way up to this press box this afternoon. Wick, can you hear it down there?
Boy, can I ever. A few moments ago when they ran a plane near our sideline here, it's true, even over some of the shouts and the yells of this marvelous crowd, you could still hear leather on leather. Connie?
All right, here's the kickoff by Ertzleben. The wind grabs it. It's fielded on the 12, up the middle to the 15, to the 20, the 25. It goes to the 30, breaks the tackle on the 30, breaks the tackle on the 45, to the 50, the 45, to the 40. He's about to be caught on the 35. He's forced covered and wrestled down on the 29-yard line. Oh, man, what a return. Raymond Claiborne, who just made the punt return for the Texas touchdown, made the saving tackle on Roaches after a 59-yard run back on the kickoff. He fielded it on the 12, and he broke a couple of tackles as he came back to the Texas 29. What a game. The score 10-7. The Aggies lead. That's the score they won by here in 1967 to win the conference championship. Here are the Aggies first and 10 on the Texas 29 against the 4-3 defense. Ball is handed off to Woodard, the fullback. He cracks it left guard, gets 1 yard, and then they push him to the near sideline. Paul Jett and Tim Campbell are the guys who run him ashore at the near sideline. A savage defense. Let's quickly review the defensive lineup for Texas. The front four in the trenches, Rick Burleson, Brad Shearer, Ernest Lee, and Tim Campbell. The linebackers, Bill Hamilton, Lionel Johnson, and Rick Finlaw. And the four deep, Claiborne, Collier, Sarche, and Jepp. The ball is on the 28 of Texas. It's second down 9 to go for the Aggies. In their backfield, Mike Jay at quarterback. David Shipman has not played except to hold on field goals and extra point. Jim Hartman is in the backfield now. It's a wishbone offensively. And here is the halfback reverse to the left side. The ball goes to Hartman, and he gets down to the 27-yard line. And then he is swept down by Darrell's Department of Defense, headed by Paul Jett. Steve Collier coming in to help along with Raymond Claiborne and Brad Shearer. Steve Collier, who likes music and drawing. He's an architecture major who plays the piano. The ball just inside the 28-yard line of Texas. Third down, long 8 to go. Skip Walker back in for Jim Hartman in the Aggie backfield. It's an I backfield with Walker in the slot. Here's a pull-up sprint now by Jay. He's running back at the 40. He's down to the 35 and throws the pass toward the end zone. Osborne is there. He's got it. He dropped it. He had it and dropped it for a touchdown. Osborne was behind the defense. He had him beat in the far corner. Jay released the ball from the 35. It carried 40 yards. It hit Osborne in good catching position, but Osborne could not hold the ball as Steve Collier was covering him. They rule it incomplete. And so it's a long incompletion. It'll bring up 4th down. Now Tony Franklin, the field goal kicker, comes on. The ball is on the Texas 28. It's at the near hash mark. Franklin will kick with the wind. He kicked 159 yards this season, the longest in the conference this year on an Aggie record. He will try this one from 45 yards at the near hash mark, and he has a tailwind. It's almost right in behind him. 45-yard field goal attempt. Here is Franklin's kick. It's on the way. It is towering and sailing and going, and no good. It's off to the right side. It'll be a touchback and brought out to the 20, and Texas gets possession with 11:25 to go in the first half. Jim Wiggins, you've done a lot of play-by-play, and now you're working the sideline today. What's the difference?
Well, Connie, there's a very big difference. For one thing, when you're up there where you are, you get a far better view of it than I do down here. Another thing, it's a detached feeling when you're up in the press section because you can't hear the leather, you can't see the expressions, you can't hear the grunts and the breath being expelled. On the other hand, you have an advantage up there that you have an overall view of the field, of the advance of the ball. Actually, down here, the seat's not too good. The visibility is fine, but the perspective is just wrong for viewing football. But let me say this. Unless you've stood at the bottom of Kyle Field with an overflow crowd screaming its head off back and forth as this exciting ball game progresses, you can't really understand the excitement of the football game till you've been down here in it. I feel like I'm with the two teams moving back and forth. One other thing, Connie, as I look across the field to the east stands, the Aggies, 3/4 of them were on the Aggie Warham moving back and forth, and the same over here. But a few moments ago on the long run by Claiborne, you found out where the Longhorns were. Here's Connie Alexander.
And here are the Longhorns at the 20, and the ball is to the fullback, Earl Campbell, who goes 1 yard to the 21. As he hips and rips through tacklers to the left guard side, Edgar Fields and Jimmy Dean make the tackle. Basically, the Aggie 4-man secondary works like a wheel, and it rotates toward an end sweep. It will contract on a line play and then expand as the passer drops back. The ball is on the Texas 21, Texas 2nd down, and 9 to go moving into the wind. They break the wishbone. They have a slot right and a split left end, and here's an option reverse around left end with Jackson on the 15, breaks tackle on the 20, goes to 25. He hits somebody on the 29. What a collision, and he is knocked to the turf for the 29, and Jackson jumps up ready to fight with the Aggie at the 29-yard line. He got almost the first down on that play. That was the triple option reverse, and Pat Thomas made the tackle on the Texas 29. Blake Schwartz fingernailed him as the ball carrier Jackson took it on the old end around to the 29-yard line of Texas. It's 3rd down and 1 to go. Actually, about 2 feet to go. 10-13 to go until intermission. 10-7 Aggies lead. Wishbone backfield. Constanzo's got the ball. He's on the 30. Hits dumps on the 29.5-yard line. Loses the ball, but I think it was dead before he lost it. Now, there was something out of focus on the play as Constanzo tried to hand off to his fullback. Either the gears failed to mesh or he intentionally disconnected the ball, took it out, and it was tackled back at the 29.5. It'll be 4th down, half a yard to go. And as Constanzo did not make the connection with Campbell, he ended up with the ball, and he had to sort of run to the right as Campbell had started to the left. And the Aggie defense, which is a savage one to say the least, tackled him at the 29.5. It's 4th down, half a yard to go, and Ertzleben will have to kick into a vicious wind. He stands on his 14. Has a chin-high snap, gets the kick away powerfully. Sailing, floating across the far boundary line now as it hit just inbounds and kicked out at the 33 of Texas A&M to stop the clock at 9:14 to go in the first half. Texas A&M 10, University of Texas 7. 38-yard kick into that wind. That was some kind of power by the freshman Russell Erxleben. In the Aggie backfield, Mike Jay is still operating at quarterback. He had run for 183 yards, 4.6 average per carry coming into this game. They're in a wishbone configuration with a split right end. There is a fake and a keep by Jay. He cuts to the 35, to the 39, maybe to his own 40-yard line. As he faked to his dive back, Woodard ran the option to the left. Got a good block from Richard Osborne. And when he got through unraveling yardage, he had gotten to the Aggie 40. And the firm of Tim Campbell, Brad Shearer, and Steve Collier were there for the tackle on the Aggie 40. It'll be 2nd down and 3 for Texas A&M University. The Fighting Aggies, who are ranked number 2 in America, behind Ohio State. 8 minutes and 42 seconds to go in the first half. Mike Floyd had split in, 12 yards off the right tackle. The 4-3 defense. The handoff to Woodard. Woodard goes to the 40, slants and slashes, veers the 44-yard line of the Aggies. Close to a first down, should have enough for it. Tim Campbell, the 190-pound freshman defensive right end, made the stop to nose the ball just inside the Aggie 44. And referee Ken Faulkner signaling for a measurement for a first down. The officials Ken Faulkner, Marv Durenberger, W.C. Coleman, Roland Goss, J.D. Rowland, and Tim Hatch. Here's the stretch of the chain. Looks like it's going to be a first down. It is. A first down by the length of the pigskin. The rule book says the ball should be between 11 and 11 and a half inches or so. And that's just how far the Aggies had left for the first down. The nose of the ball just inside their 44. They're in a wishbone backfield. A split left end. They're against the 4-man front. Here's the lead option to the right, Jay Keefe. He's to the 45, the 48, and driven out of bounds around the 49 of Texas A&M, near the far sideline. It's time for a station break. Your hosts this afternoon are your neighborhood Exxon retailer and Exxon Company USA, who say, let's make every mile count. We pause briefly for station identification.
Exciting Southwest Conference football, Spurs ABA basketball action, and NFL football, all on WOAI San Antonio.
Back at the annual Gig'em and Hook'em Festival, Connie Alexander with Dave Smith and Jim Wiggins, and the ball is at the 50-yard line. The Aggies have 2nd and about 3 or 4 to go. Here is Skip Walker carrying the ball into Texas territory as he dances and darts down to the 47-yard line. Doesn't look like quite enough for the first down as Ernest Lee and Bill Hamilton make the tackle. Marty Akins was injured about 5 minutes ago, and a trainer from each side of him lifted him up and carried him off the field. He had his arms around their shoulders. And our spotter from Texas, Jeff Newman, says he cannot see Marty Akins on the bench now. The Texas Aggie spotter is Jerry Wagoner, former Star sports editor, now managing editor of the Bryan Eagle. The ball is on the 47-yard line of Texas, 3rd down, 1 to go. Big play. Texas puts almost 8 men up front. Woodard gets the first down as he pulls to the 45 and then gives another surge to the 43 of Texas. Adrian Ford and Tim Campbell finally bandaged the Texas defense, but too late to stop George Woodard. George Woodard, who runs like a rhinoceros with a sinus headache. Man, he's got power. 6'1", 245. He took it to the 43 of the Texas Longhorns, 1st and 10. 6:39 to go in the first half. 10-7 the Aggies lead. 4-man front. Here is the lead option to the left side. And Mike Jay keeps the ball and cuts, and he is hit on the 41 of Texas and folded up. Hit by Tim Campbell and by Rick Burleson. And they made a quarterback sandwich out of him. At the 41-yard line of the University of Texas, it'll be 2nd down and 8 to go for the Texas Aggies, who lead 10-7. Before 57,000, an overflow of 9,000 at College Station, as the sun has come out once more. Low clouds flying by in a 20-mile-per-hour wind. They don't look like they have too many raindrops in them. It's a pure 4-3 defense, actually about 5 underneath coverage and 4 front linemen. Here is Jay passing to the right on a quick out, complete on the 34 to Carl Roaches. He's nailed immediately by Raymond Claiborne and driven down on the 35. He's close to a first down. He's in Texas real estate. That was a quick out to Carl Roaches, the split end, who makes his 8th catch of the year. Coach Embry Ballard says he is the toughest player I've ever been around. He has 9.4 speed in the 100. He holds every kick return record in Aggie history. And they're going to put the ball down on just inside the 35 of Texas, and it is 3rd down and 2 to go for the Aggies on the Texas 35 at the far hash mark. It's the split 6 defense against the wishbone. Here goes Walker. Walker springboards to the 33 as he goes over left guard in the guard tackle gap, and he should have it up for the first down as they unstack him. It was Campbell, Lee, and Shearer. The right side of the Texas forward wall made the tackle. First down. That is the 10th first down this afternoon for the Aggies. David, how many for Texas?
The University of Texas has 3. Texas A&M has 10. Connie, it's interesting. They're really using this boy Woodard this afternoon. He's carried a dozen times now for 52 yards to be the leading carrier in the ball game so far.
And he has just limped off the field, and Bucky Sams has replaced him at fullback. Here's a pitch to Walker. He's on the 35, the 30, to the 25, and hit on the right shoulder and decked hard at the 24-yard line by Steve Collier. Collier roaming across from his safety man position, the center fielder, and he cracked Skip Walker on the right arm and really bashed him to the carpet at the 24-yard line. And Woodard has come out of the game, and he may have some ankle trouble. Former high school All-American, the big fullback that Dave told you about, 12 carries for 52 yards. Now he's back in at fullback against the split 6 defense. Here's Jay pitching out to Bubba Bean, who is hit on the 26. His momentum carries him over the 25 to the 23. And that's a new word for you, momentum. Adrian Ford in on the tackle. Somebody shaken up. And on the floor of Kyle Field here at College Station, it's a Texas lad with the ball down on the 23-yard line. It'll be 3rd and 1 for the Texas Aggies. 3:57 to go in the second quarter. The Aggies lead 10-7. We have an opportunity to review the lineups for you. For the Aggies in the front 7, Carl Roaches, Glenn Bujnak, a red-headed all-conference player. There goes Woodard onto the field. That's the ovation. Bucky Sams comes out. Bruce Welch is at left guard for the Aggies, all-conference education major, 260. The center's Mark Denner, 245, a sophomore. The right guard, Frank Myers, 249, a sophomore. The right tackle for the Aggie forward wall offensively, environmental design major Dennis Swilley at 256. The tight end, Richard Osborne, 6'5", 228, senior. In the backfield for the Aggies, Mike Jay, Bubba Bean, George Woodard, and Skip Walker. They're still working on that Texas player. It looks like Lionel Johnson, who is down. He is the middle linebacker, one of the top tacklers for the team. Our Texas spotter, Jeff Newman's been using the binoculars to pick up the number. Now I'll get my binoculars on and see if I just can't see anything because there are trainers and players grouped around Lionel Johnson. The nose of the ball is just outside the Texas 23. Many of the players have their helmets off. I think that gives you an idea of how hot it is. The thermometer reads 74, but the sun is out, and the AstroTurf kicks up some heat, about 8 or 10 degrees usually. And Jim Wiggins down there on the field, can you tell anything about the heat factor?
Just checked our thermometers a little while ago, and they're both registering 80 degrees plus now, which means in spite of the wind, we're still picking up a bit of heat. Let me mention one other thing about the crowd, if I may, Connie. I was looking at both sides a while ago. It's very easy to tell where the Aggie supporters are because when they sing the Aggie war hymn, traditionally, you know, the Aggie supporters link arms and they sway back and forth. So you just look up and see which part of the stands are swaying, and that's where the Aggies are. Then on Cleveland's 64-yard run a little earlier in this quarter, you found out where the Texas Longhorns supporters were because they stood up to a man to salute the first really good news they've had since this football game got underway. Connie Alexander.
Okay, Jim Wiggins, Lionel Johnson has been removed from the game, and here is 3rd and 1 for the Aggies of the Texas 23, and there goes Woodard. He fights his way to the 20. He pulls his way to the 17 of Texas for the first down. Steve Collier on the tackle. Lionel Johnson was taken from the field. An assistant trainer on either side of him. He had his arms around their shoulders, and they helped him off the field in exactly the same fashion that Marty Akins left about 10 or 15 minutes ago. He was replaced at middle linebacker by Bill Acker, a 229-pound freshman from Freer, Texas. The nose of the ball is almost on the Texas 16. 1st and 10 for the Aggies, who lead 10-7. Wishbone configuration in the backfield. Woodard takes it again to the left side. He's inside the 15, and he explores and explodes down to about the 13-yard line of the University of Texas. Bill Hamilton and Rick Burleson ensnare him at that point. The clock is becoming a factor now. Late in the first half, 3 minutes and 9 seconds to play. The ball on the 13-yard line of the Longhorns. Second down and 7 to go for the Texas Aggies, who lead 10-7. Texas front four: Burleson, Shearer, Lee, and Campbell. Split right in. Four-man front. Handoff from Jay to Woodard. Woodard goes rumbling up the middle. He gets to the 10, maybe to the 9-yard line. Brad Shearer and Bill Hamilton finally dump him to the deck. Ernest Lee, 240-pounder, was also in on the tackle. Put the ball down to the 10-yard line of the University of Texas, almost equidistant between sidelines. It's third down coming and about 4 to go. 3rd and 4 for Texas A&M on the Texas 10-yard line. Here they come to the line of scrimmage. Texas entrenching with a 4-3 front against the wishbone with a split right in. The quarterback in trouble. He goes back to the 16, breaks the tackle, makes the U-turn, caught to the left ankle, back on the 16, and jumps on the 17-yard line. Mike Jay got in trouble as the Texas defense just kept coming. Paul Jett and Tim Campbell. It was a literal hurricane of horns as they just kept on coming. And somebody is down. It looks like Mike Jay. Mike Jay, the Aggie quarterback, is down. The ball is down on the 16-yard line. That's where the sequence of downs originated. It'll be 4th and 10 for Texas A&M. Mike Jay, the senior quarterback, 2-year letterman from Torrington, Wyoming, where he was high school All-American. He started because David Shipman had been injured. Shipman was injured in the Baylor and SMU games. Shipman has come back to practice. He's been practicing about a week. He is ready to go at full speed, but because Jay had been operating the team well, they have had him start. He has been operating the team okay, but right now he is on his back as we have a timeout, and the crowd is hushed. Listen to the silence. Mike Jay gets up and trots off the field, and David Shipman comes in for him. Now, Shipman has been the primary starting quarterback throughout the season. He is 30 pounds heavier. They're going to go for a field goal. It's 4th and 10. Tony Franklin will try it from 33 yards. It is on the way. Looks like it might be wide to the left. It is. He hooked it a little. It was a foul ball. Tim Campbell may have gotten a little bit of a piece of it. You think so, Jeff? Our Texas spotter thinks that Tim Campbell, the defensive right end, may have gotten a little piece of the ball to cause it to go to the left side. I think you'd have to see a playback to tell for sure. In any event, it's an unsuccessful field goal try, and it's a touchback, and Texas has the ball. 1 minute and 46 to go in the first half. Texas 1st and 10 at their own 20. They're looking at a 6-1 defense with a 4-deep secondary. Here's the quarterback drawing a fumble. The ball goes out to the 24-yard line of the University of Texas. A big pile-up. Players fighting for the ball. Officials fighting down in there to see who's got it. Constanzo ran a quarterback draw. He fumbled the ball. It squirted forward to the 24 of Texas. They're still unstacking. It's still Texas ball. Tommy Ingram recovered the ball. The tight end, 220 pounds, 6'5", from Copperas Cove. Mentally tough. And he was mentally alert at that point. A key play. The recovery made almost on the Texas 25. It'll be 2nd and a long 5. Marty Aiken is out of the game. He was carried from the field. Here is the quarterback keeper by Constanzo as he goes over left guard, and he goes over the 25 to the 28. Hit by Tank Marshall and Ed Simonini. Tank Marshall, 258 pounds, junior from Dallas. And Ed Simonini, who has twice been second-team All-American, 6 feet tall, 220, a nominee for the Kern Tips Memorial Award. Billy Gordon and Will Wilcox opened the way for Constanzo. Constanzo, the freshman quarterback. It is 3rd down at the 29, 1 to go. The ball is given to Graylin Wyatt at right tackle on the inside belly. Second man through to the 32 for a first down. Texas gets the first down. 27 seconds left in the first half. The tackle by Robert Jackson and by Edgar Fields. Dave Smith That's the fourth first down of the ball game for the Longhorns, Connie. The Texas A&M Aggies have a total of 11. 21 seconds left to play. Texas 7, the Aggies 10.
All right, it is 1st and 10 on the 32. Texas ball, they're into the field. The handoff is to Jackson up the middle. He fights to the 35, to the 40. He loses the ball. It's picked up on the 40 by an Aggie who starts to run it. And I believe they're going to rule that he recovered the fumble. Of course, he could not advance it after it touched the ground. It is a Texas fumble and an Aggie recovery. Earl Campbell fumbled the ball after he had a big gain, and Jackie Williams scooped it up. And they rule that he picked it up on the Texas 41.5. We have 7 seconds to go in the first half. Now, will they go for a field goal? They have a guy who has the range, and he has the wind at his back, and he's on the field. Tony Franklin, who has kicked the 59-yard field goal, is going to go for a field goal. The Texas Aggies have called for a timeout. The clock is stopped with 7 seconds to go. We're in the first half of play. The score 10-7. The Aggies lead Texas. The ball is at the 41.5-yard line of the University of Texas. This would mean the tee would be put down just inches inside the 49. It'll be a 59-yard field goal attempt from the near hash mark with the wind. Franklin kicked one from this distance earlier this year. He holds the Texas high school state record at 58 yards. The national collegiate record is 63 yards. He has the power. And we have a timeout downfield. We have 7 seconds remaining in the half. And Tony Franklin, the freshman, is going to try a field goal as the timeout has been called. We're going to have a tremendous halftime show. Two of the great bands in America, Texas A&M and the University of Texas. And Dave Smith will be the master of ceremonies. And I'm sure Jim Wiggins down in the arena will be coming through with some more sensational performances, as he always does. All right, we're ready for the field goal attempt from 59 yards. Texas has got everybody ready to rush except one man. All right, it's on the tee. Here's the kick. It has a lot of height. It has the distance. It looks like it could be, but it's not good. It was a little to the right side. And we have 1 second left on the clock. 1 second left on the clock. The ball will be brought out to the 20-yard line as Tony Franklin's 59-yard field goal try is wide. It looked like it had enough distance, but it got to the right side of the right stanchion. And the clock stops with 1 second remaining. The Texas Longhorns behind 10-7. They get the ball 1st and 10 at their own 20 on the touchback after the unsuccessful field goal. The race for the Cotton Bowl. The loser of this game will go to the Bluebonnet Bowl. All right, here comes Texas to the line of scrimmage. Marty Akins is injured and out of the game, and the freshman quarterback Ted Constanzo is in the cockpit. He calls the signals. He fakes a handoff to Campbell. He takes it up the middle to the 22. Then he is caught, smashed backward 3 yards, and that's the end of the first half with the score. Texas A&M 10, Texas 7.
Meeting between the Longhorns of Texas, the Aggies of Texas A&M, being played before a packed crowd at Kyle Field, College Station, Texas, on the Aggie campus. At intermission time, the Aggies own the scoreboard 10-7 over the Longhorns. When the University of Texas opened in 1883, one of its 2 initial departments was devoted to the study of law. Today, the UT Austin Law School is considered the preeminent institution of legal education in the Southwest. More than half of the practicing attorneys in Texas have been trained at the UT Law School. With more than 1,600 students, the law school is the 2nd largest in the nation. Its admission standards are the highest within a 1,500-mile radius. A faculty of outstanding legal scholars, an excellent law library that is 9th largest in the U.S., and an active conference program in continuing legal education combined to give the University of Texas Law School a stature that is nationally recognized. The preceding message was furnished for broadcast on the Exxon Football Network by the University of Texas. We await the entrance in a few moments of the big Texas A&M band, the largest military band in the world. But right now, down on the sideline, our man on the floor of the playing field, Jim Wiggins, has a couple of interesting people he's going to talk to. Jim, take it away, will you?
Just a moment, we're going to hear a roar go up as this great band starts in from the left side with a hullabaloo, connect, connect. First, it's Texas A&M band walking on from the left to right. But we have with us 5 handsome gentlemen who happen to be the yell leaders. Now get this, yell leaders, not cheerleaders, for Texas A&M University. To my left is the head cheerleader. Will you give us your name?
Head yell leader, sir. I'm Jim Bob Mickler from Haskell, Texas, and taking agricultural education.
Let me ask you just a word or two before we can do these other boys about the traditions of yell leading. Why are you yell leaders as opposed to cheerleaders?
Oh, sir, not long ago we were completely male and completely military school, and the way we do things, we yell, we don't cheer and clap. The way the people bend over, we call humping it. Just let all that's in their lungs out. It's a whole lot different. We like to be different.
Are you fellas elected by the student body?
Yes, sir. It's a popular vote. The student body is held every spring, and so far we haven't had any female competition that don't expect any. The way we do things around here is that way.
So you don't expect, even though it's a co-ed university, you don't expect that you'll have any female yell leaders too?
No, sir. If they feel the way about the school that we do when they came here, that they probably won't give us any trouble about that.
All right. Now, in just a moment, we'll be back here, but now to the Texas A&M band on field.
Stand by. We'll be talking to you later as we continue this football game, the 82nd meeting between the Longhorns and the Aggies. Texas A&M 10, Texas 7, and what a football game we've had here this afternoon. Unfortunately, that wind has kicked up considerably, Connie, in the last few minutes. In fact, the Aggies are trying to kick to Texas right now, and the ball has fallen off the tee twice, the wind blowing it off. But now we're about ready to go. The ball is on the tee. We're ready, and here is Connie Alexander.
Hello again, everybody. The Texas Aggies leading 10-7, and Franklin will be kicking with the wind. And that wind is probably well over 20 miles per hour. The sun is shining in College Station. A lot of low-altitude clouds hanging around. The 3 deep backs for Texas are Jackson, Wyatt, and Claiborne, with Bazell up near the 20-yard line. It's unlikely that they will have an opportunity for a kick return as the barefooted Tony Franklin will kick. He is wearing a sock on his right foot. Here's his kick, and it's a gorilla ball. 80 yards. It'll be a touchback. First and 10 from the 20-yard line, the University of Texas. Interestingly, that was the score by which Texas A&M defeated Texas on this same field in 1967 to win the Southwest Conference Championship. Marty Akins is in street clothes. He has re-injured his knee. Lionel Johnson may be back for action. Here is Constanzo, the freshman quarterback, handing to Campbell, who hits left guard. He gets 2 yards, and then he is smashed by Ballard Blitzkrieg. They really nailed him at the 22. A gain of 2. Robert Jackson, the middle linebacker, made the key tackle at 6'3", 220. Marty Akins is in street clothes. He has re-injured his knee, and the freshman Ted Constanzo has the whole load on his shoulders now. Lionel Johnson, Texas middle linebacker, was shaken up. He may be back for some duty. Robert Jackson was shaken up on that last play on the tackle, and Grady Wilkerson has replaced him. Here's the option by Constanzo. He keeps. He's hit on the 23 and dribbled across the far side of the field, out of bounds in an Aggie avalanche. Ed Simonetti and Grady Wilkerson. The 2 tacklers, Simonetti, who in Nevada was the high school offensive and defensive player of the year and the wrestling champion. 6 feet, 220. Has 7 career interceptions. They rule that Constanzo's forward progress was nearer the 24 than the 23 of Texas. It'll be 3rd and 6 for the University of Texas in the early going in the 3rd period. 10-7, the Aggies leading Texas. Here is a broken slot to the right side, wishbone broken, and Campbell slashes to the left to the 28-yard line, and that's all. Campbell carried 5 times in the first half for only 22 yards. Grady Wilkerson and Jackie Williams on the stop. And that is very meaningful because Earl Campbell is the number 19 rusher in America with 1,078 yards in 10 games, an average of 107.8 a game. He only got 22 yards the first quarter. He has about 6, or the first half, he has about 6 yards here in the early going in the third quarter. Knee-high snap to Erxleben. He gets his kick away, and it goes wobbling and spiraling into the wind. A fair catch made by a falling Carl Roach is about his own 40-yard line. The wind was pulling it down so quickly that he had to plunge forward for the fair catch. 32-yard punt. Now, Mike Jay, who was shaken up for the Aggies, was stung pretty hard. He may possibly be able to come back and play if needed in the second half, but David Shipman is in there at the controls for the Aggie Maroon machine right now as they come to the line of scrimmage. And Lionel Johnson is back at middle linebacker for Texas. They're in a 4-3, pure 4-3 with an inverted right safety. There's a fumble rolling around, back around the 36-yard line. A battle for Texas recovers. David Shipman fumbled the ball, and it is recovered by Bill Hamilton. Jim Campbell jarred the ball loose, and there is a recovery made back at the 36-yard line, and Texas takes over on the Aggie 36. Dave Smith.
Connie, that's the first Aggie turnover in the ball game. Texas has had 2.
Okay, it's 1st and 10 for the University of Texas at the Aggie 36. Texas is trailing 10-7. Constanzo takes the snap. Constanzo gives it to Campbell. Campbell dynamites at right guard inside the 35 to the 34-yard line. Campbell got about 2 yards. Robert Jackson is back in at middle linebacker, and Edgar Fields is in at defensive left tackle for the Aggies. The nose of the ball on the 34.5 of the Texas Aggies. Second down, 8.5 to go for the University of Texas. The ball 25 yards into the near side of the playing field. 12.5 minutes to go in the third quarter. Alfred Jackson splits 10 yards to the left at end. Costanzo gives it to Graylin Wyatt off right tackle to the 30-yard line. That's on the inside belly to the tight inside. Pat Thomas, the left cornerback, fills the hole as Bob Simmons, the right tackle, and Charles Wilcox, the right guard, open the door to the 30-yard line of the Aggies. Bob Simmons, 6'5", 258, All-American. He likes to paint. His dad Boots played here at Texas A&M. It's 3rd down and 4 for Texas on the Aggie 30-yard line. Aggies with a pure 4-3, and it's a 4 across secondary. There's a handoff to Campbell, and Campbell goes to the 28-yard line. He's looking for the line to gain. He's caught, and he is swept away in a tide of Aggie tacklers. Forward progress is going to be about the 28, and it's going to bring up 4th down and about 2 to go. Tank Marshall was the first one there for the nation's leading defense. The ball is placed on the 28-yard line of Texas A&M. Texas moving into the wind, a very strong, growling gale here in the third quarter. 11:33 remaining in the third period. It's 4th and 2, and Texas is going to run for it. They figure they can't kick it into that wind for a field goal. Here they are, Costanzo to the line of scrimmage. Now he walks back and calls for a timeout. Costanzo starts to jog over to the far sideline. Tremendous pressure on the shoulders of this young freshman. And there is a called timeout on the field with the score. The Aggies 10. Wait a minute. They're going to go back to play as the referee, Ken Faulkner, says, wind the clock. Okay, it is 4th down and 2, and here come the Longhorns for the critical play. The Aggies bunch up defensively. Costanzo keeps. There's a flag on the play. Costanzo gets down close to the 26, the line to gain, and then is driven back to the 30. Couple of flags on the play. It was 4th and 2 on the 28. Illegal motion signal against Texas. Illegal motion signal against Texas. Now let's see where they rule forward progress. He gets the binoculars. And those the ball appears to be, it's hard to see the ball for the official, the players, but it looks to me like it's about the 26.5, and the line to gain is the 26. Thereabouts. They're bringing the chain out now for the measurement. If you hear a very loud roar, you'll know the Aggies have held. There are not as many fans from Texas. University of Texas was just a couple of teardrops away from a first down. The Aggie defense held, and they take over 1st and 10. And the nose of the ball is at the 26.5, the tail of it at the 27. So when you reverse into the field, it's 1st and 10 for the Aggies on the 27-yard line. David Shipman at quarterback. Texas at a pure 4-3 front. 4 deep secondary with an inverted right safety to the slot side. There's a give to the fullback, George Woodard. Big George plows to the left, and he gets to about the 28. Tim Campbell and Ernest Lee place him in bondage at that point. We have 10:47 remaining in the third quarter. The ball is on the 29-yard line of the Aggies. It'll be 2nd down and 8 to go for Texas A&M University in the battle for the Cotton Bowl. If Texas wins today, they'll win the championship and will go to the Cotton Bowl. If the Aggies win today, they still have to play Arkansas next Saturday to decide who would be the Southwest Conference representative in the Cotton Bowl. About a 9-man front defensively against the wishbone. And here's a halfback counter to Bubba Bean, and Bubba gets to the 30, maybe to the 30.5-yard line. As Bubba goes down in a web of muscle near the Aggie 30. Ernest Lee and Lionel Johnson are the two lads who pin him up. Knows the ball just outside the Aggie 30. It'll be 3rd down and 7 to go. That was a halfback counter with Bubba Bean taking an influence step to his right and then heading straight ahead over left guard, reading the block of the guard, Bruce Welch. There wasn't much room to operate. He got a yard. The 4-3 front. The rover back goes over to the wide side of the field toward the split Aggie end. It's a wishbone configuration in the back. And here's a sprint out by Shipman and a pass downfield. And it is incomplete, and a flag is thrown at midfield. Interference is signaled against somebody. There was one guy from each side going down the far sideline, and let's see who they're going to call interference against. Now here's illegal use of hands being signaled against Texas, and the ball is being placed down at the 46.5 of the Aggies, and a 1st down signal for Texas A&M. One of the officials at the far side signaled interference, and the referee, Ken Faulkner, signaled illegal use of hands. In any event, it's a 1st and 10 for the Aggies at the 47 in Aggie land. Here's Shipman optioning left. He keeps cut to his own 49. Then he is bookended by Ernest Lee and Bill Hamilton. After a gain of about 2 or 3 yards, they're going to put it just inside the 49 of the Aggies. The Aggies lead 10-7 with 9 minutes and 25 seconds left in the fourth of the game. The ball on the 49 of Texas A&M. The front four for Texas: Burleson, Shearer, Lee, and Tim Campbell. Linebackers Hamilton, Johnson, and Finlaw. The 4 deep: Claiborne, Collier, Sarche, and Jett. It's an eye, slot eye to the right for the Aggies. About 3-foot split to the line. Here's the sprint draw, and it's Bubba Bean to the 50, and he keeps fighting to the 48 of the University of Texas. Bubba Bean on a sprint draw as the quarterback sprinted out to the right, and Bubba Bean took it on the handoff about 3 or 4 yards deep, then veered back to his left over the middle. And Tim Campbell and Ernest Lee were able to contain him on the 48-yard line of the University of Texas. It'll be 3rd down, 5 to go for the Texas Aggies. 3rd and 5, and this is a critical play right here. 8 minutes and 38 seconds remaining in the third quarter. The Aggies are ahead by 3 points. They have title to the ball right now, and 3rd and 5 coming. They're on the Texas 48. Fasten your seatbelts. They break the wishbone to the right. Slot bone to the right. Split 4 defense for Texas. The ball is to Bean. He is to the 45, to the 44, to the 43, and he's got a 1st down. Bubba Bean going right up the midway with some neat footwork, some sleight of foot that enabled him to get to the 43. I think it's enough for the 1st down. Mr. Faulkner, the referee, says let's measure it. A tackle by Lionel Johnson, 6'2", 210, a junior. Now they bring the sticks out. The line to gain chain is about to be set down for the measurement. There it is, 1st down for the Aggies. It's on the 43-yard line. Texas premises, halfway between the sidelines. The Aggies moving with the wind. There are about 40 U.S. flags around the rim of the stadium here. And believe me, 40 flags are stretched out. They look almost like they are plastered up against, painted on a wall. That's how strong the wind is out of the south. Shipman takes the snap. He gives it to Bubba Bean. Knocking at the door at the right side. He bounces back at the 43. Turns on the second effort to the 42. Brad Shearer is the tackler, aided by Rick Burleson. Brad Shearer, business major, has recovered 3 fumbles and caused 3 this year. He's pressured the passer 10 times, intercepted a pass. Had 98 tackles coming into the game, 6 behind the line of scrimmage. Rick Burleson, an English major, pressured the passer 17 times this year. He's had 69 tackles, recovered 4 fumbles. The ball's on the 42-yard line. Texas territory, 2nd and 9 for the Aggies as the sun goes behind the clouds again. It's a split 6 defense now, 3 deep secondary, wishbone configuration, split right in. And it's an option to the left and a pitch, and the ball is rolling around on the turf at midfield. Looks like Skip Walker recovered it, as it was an errant pitch from David Shipman. He pitched it, but it was out of reach of Skip Walker. Might have hit Skip on the shoulder pad and popped around. Tim Campbell was putting a lot of heat on it, and the ball is recovered by Skip Walker at the 50-yard line, and it's going to be 3rd down and 17 to go for the Aggies. 3rd and 17. Here come the Aggies to the line of scrimmage, 3rd and 17 at the 50. They're in an I. They have a slot to the right. Shipman dropping back to pass behind his tackle. He fires. Richard Osborne makes a falling grab at the 34. It is. Let's see if they rule it complete or not. He may have trapped it. They apparently are going to rule it complete. They do. And the ball is placed just inside the 35. The line to gain the 33. It's going to be 4th down. So it was about a 15-yard gain from Shipman to Osborne, who made a beautiful diving catch. He had plucked 10 passes out of the O-zone before today's game. He caught 1 for the Aggie touchdown earlier. 4th and 2, and Franklin's going for the field goal. It'll be a 52-yard try with a win. A yard inside the near hash mark. It's on the tee. He kicks it up. It is going toward the goalpost, but it is to the right side. He appeared to have enough power, but he kicked it wide to the right side. And the score remains Texas A&M 10, the University of Texas 7, with 5:44 remaining in the 3rd quarter. Today we're delighted to greet you around the world on some 400 American Forces Radio Network stations, also on KANC in Anchorage, Alaska, as well as our usual Exxon Network. And we hope you had a happy birthday yesterday. 5:44 to go. 3rd quarter. And let's pick up a little bit of that music.
Connie, this is the largest crowd ever to see a football game at Kyle Field, College Station, Texas. 56,679 is the official attendance here this afternoon. The previous all-time record was set back in October when Texas A&M defeated Baylor here. That crowd was 53,693. 56,679, the largest crowd ever to witness a contest at Kyle Field. Connie?
Okay, Texas takes over after the unsuccessful field goal attempt now. 1st and 10 at their own 20. There was a handoff to Earl Campbell, the fullback. Big Earl tries to ramble and gets about a yard, and Robert Jackson comes in to corral him. A 1-yard gain to the 21-yard line. 2nd and 9 for Texas, as they'll be operating at the Texas 21-yard line. With 5:20 to go in the 3rd quarter, the score is 10-7. Texas moving into the wind here in the 3rd quarter. And a strong wind it is, probably 25 miles per hour. The Aggies set up a 6-1 look up front with an umbrella secondary, a 4-spoke secondary. There's a handoff to Campbell, and once more, he is just an island in an ocean of Aggie muscle. Disappears in a massive maroon. Edgar Fields leading it with 53 unassisted tackles before today. Blake Schwartz also in on the tackle. He's made 10 tackles for losses this year. Fields has made 13 for losses. The Aggie defense has averaged one loss out of every 5 plays for the opposition. That's how tough they are. They lead the nation. They allowed 64 rushing yards the first half. They, for the season, have allowed 67 a game. Here is Constanzo on a draw play to Campbell. Campbell in trouble on the 21, down on the 22.5-yard line. Man, there were big maroon clouds coming from all directions. Tank Marshall first, then Garth Tenaple, and Campbell went down on his back, sort of on his left side at the 22.5-yard line, and it's 4th down, 7.5. The crowd salutes the Aggie defense in the background. Kirk Slavin will have to kick into the wind. It's going to be about an 8 or 9-man rush. It's a good snap. The kick is away. He keeps it fairly low. It comes down to a fair catch at about the 48 of Texas in the arms of David Greeno of Albuquerque. David Greeno, the up back, and it's a 25-yard kick into the wind with 3:48 remaining in the third quarter, and there is a call timeout on the field with the score. Texas A&M 10, Texas 7, and here's Dave Smith.
3 minutes and 48 seconds remain to be played in the third frame of this 82nd meeting between Texas and Texas A&M. Texas 7, Texas A&M 10, and that was the reading at halftime. There's been no scoring in this third quarter, but we're ready for more action on the field of play with 3:48 remaining in the third quarter. Here again is Connie Alexander.
It's 1st and 10 for Texas A&M on the Texas 47-yard line. The handoff to the fullback, and he ranges into the middle, and he nears the 45 of Texas. Tim Campbell and Ernest Lee on the tackle. Tony Franklin kicked the 11th field goal of the season earlier in the game, and that sets a new one-season record formerly held by Randy Haddix. He has been unsuccessful in about 2 or 3 attempts since then. But that one successful attempt is the advantage for the Aggies right now, 10-7, with 3:15 remaining in the third quarter. It's a slot high to the left for the Aggies on 2nd and about 7 at the Texas 45. Bubba Bean, the tailback on the isolation play, goes up the middle, has severe left, tripped up about the 45, topples inside close to the 44. Ernest Lee, physical education major, and Tim Campbell from Tyler, John Tyler High School, made the tackle. Nose of the ball almost on the Texas 44. The line to gain is the 38, so it's third down, about 6.5 yards to go for Texas A&M. With David Shippen at quarterback, Bubba Bean and Skip Walker the halfbacks, and George Woodard is the big fullback in the bulldozing department. They're in an I formation with Woodard at fullback, and the I back is Bean, and the slot back is Walker. Drop back pass by Shippen. He is hit. The ball is jarred loose. Battle for it back around the 36. Texas recovers in Aggie territory, but there's a flag. A flag back down around the line of scrimmage. David Shippen was hit. The ball was jarred loose. Tim Campbell divided him from the ball, and Brad Shearer recovered it. Illegal procedure signal against Texas A&M. Texas refuses the penalty. They will accept the ball and the recovered fumble, and Texas has possession. Dave Smith.
Connie's turnovers are now even. Texas has fumbled 3 times. They've lost it twice. The Aggies have fumbled 3 times. They've lost it twice. The score in our ball game, A&M 10, Texas 7, 2:27 remaining in the third frame. Connie?
All right, here's Texas, 1st and 10 on the Aggie 36 with Constanzo, the freshman quarterback. He fakes a handoff. He looks as though to pass. He runs left. He passes downfield. A battle for the ball down on the 23, and it's incomplete. Tommy Ingram was there along with Jackie Williams, and they had a duel for that ball. They rule incomplete down around the 23. It'll be 2nd and 10 for Texas at the Aggie 36. Edgar Fields and Blake Schwartz were putting a lot of pressure on the young freshman quarterback, Ted Constanzo, as he tried to pass. He's completed 18 out of 40 for 300 yards before today. He is playing in place of Marty Akins, who is out of the game. Kevin Scott and Alfred Jackson, 2 split ends in for Texas now. Constanzo passes complete on the 30 to Jackson. He is caught by the shirt tail and pulled back to about the Aggie 32-yard line. And it's time for the station break. Your host this afternoon are your neighborhood Exxon retailer and Exxon Company USA, who say, let's make every mile count. We pause for station identification.
Exciting Southwest Conference football, Spurs ABA basketball action, and NFL football, all on WOAI San Antonio.
Back in College Station, Texas, Connie Alexander with Dave Smith and Jim Wiggins in one of college football's all-time classic games. Third down at about 5 for Texas. Hand off to Big Earl Campbell up the middle. He's to the 29-yard line. He's 3 yards away from the magic first down line. Jimmy Dean filled the hole, aided by Robert Jackson. Jimmy Dean, high school All-American at Lake Jackson, Brazos with 6'5", 261. And Texas is calling for a timeout. Texas is calling for a timeout. The ball is just inside the 30. It'll be 4th down and about 4 to go for Texas. They're behind by 3 points with 1:23 to go in the third quarter. A cheer. It's Georgia on my mind for the 3 contenders for the Southwest Conference Football Championship. Either Texas, Texas A&M, or Arkansas will meet Georgia's Bulldogs in the 1976 Cotton Bowl Classic. Tickets for the game are $10 each, and a 50-cent mailing charge should be included with each order. Make checks or money orders payable to the Cotton Bowl Athletic Association, Box 7185 in Dallas, Texas. Zip code is 75209. Now, Ted Costanzo jogs over to the far sideline once again. You have 2 split ends now for Texas. Kevin Scott, a sophomore, and Alfred Jackson, a sophomore, as it is 4th down and 4 to go for Texas, just inside the Aggie 30. Repeating, if you want to order Cotton Bowl tickets, send your money orders or checks to the Cotton Bowl Athletic Association, Box 7185 in Dallas, zip 75209. Here's the big 4th down play. Costanzo calling the signal. He pitches it away. The tackle back on the 34 and driven back to the 36 is Jimmy Walker. Jimmy Walker, who was a halfback running out of the broken wishbone then. And Costanzo pitched it, and that savage Aggie defense headed by Tank Marshall and Blake Schwartz and company came in and made the tackle, making the stop on the 34 of the Aggies for a 4-yard loss, and the Aggies take over 1st and 10. And the University of Texas team is operating with Ted Costanzo, a freshman from San Antonio at quarterback, in place of Marty Akins, who is gone for the day with an injured knee. Shipman hands off to Woodard, and Woodard blasts up the left side, outside the 36, and he unravels yardage to his own 37. Ernest Lee and Tim Campbell on the tackle. The Aggies controlling the ball in total offense in the first half. The Aggies had 204 yards to Texas 78. The Aggies ran its 44 plays to Texas 20 plays. The Aggie defense has been the big story here this afternoon. The offense for the Aggies ready to go. And it's given to Skip Walker to the left side. Finds a little Fisher at left tackle, and he dances out to the 38-yard line. Rick Fidlaw and Ernest Lee are there to bring him down to Mother Earth. It's going to be at the 38-yard line of Texas.
Hoping for a national championship. We're in the waning seconds of the third quarter. Snap to Shipman. He fakes, runs the option right, pitches to Bean. Bean tries to get a block, has to stop, shakes one tackle at the 36, wiggles up to the 38. That'll be all. It'll bring up 4th down, and that's the end of the third quarter with the score: Texas A&M 10, Texas 7. Hello again from the campus of Texas A&M University. 24,000 students. There are 57,000 spectators here this afternoon. This is Connie Alexander, along with Dave Smith and Jim Wiggins, and an Aggie celebration in the background. And now down to the field, and Jim Wiggins.
Yeah, we were talking about that overflow crowd a little bit earlier. Augmenting the regular 48,000 seats, Connie, are some 6,000 temporary bleachers and folding chairs. The chairs, by the way, stretching from what would be the center track. Of course, it's covered with rubber material now. from the 30-yard line on the near side all the way to the north end of the field, all the way around the north end of the track to the far side. At the south end, the chairs are stacked from the 30s to a point about 20 yards behind the goal line, which makes it even with the front edge of the bleachers. Bear in mind, they were expecting 54,000, or in excess of 54,000 here, plus, of course, the millions more around the world on our Exxon radio network. This broadcast being carried by the American Armed Forces Network, some 400 stations plus, and as Connie mentioned, station in Alaska as well. So with all of these people tuned in and with a record crowd here, we've got stadium seats, bleachers, and chairs. Back to you, Connie.
Okay, a critical thing. The Texas Aggies having to punt into the wind now. A hard rush. It's a low kick and a fair catch made on the 41-yard line of the University of Texas by Paul Jett of Texas. A 21-yard kick. Now this is a most interesting point in this game. Time ran out on the Aggies after their third down play, and the third quarter ended. And with fourth down coming up, they changed ends of the field, and they had to punt into that very strong wind. It went only 21 yards on the first play of the fourth quarter. Only 5 seconds have elapsed, and it is 1st and 10 for Texas at the 40. Let's see if the freshman quarterback can get him ignited. So far, he hasn't been able to. He fakes the handoff. He drops back the pass. He lobs one down the middle. It's intercepted by Thompson on the 28. He goes back to the 25, reverses field to the 30, heading toward the far sideline to the 35. Dodges away with tackle at the 40. Clipped up by another one. That is on 45. So Constanzo, the freshman quarterback, dropped back, threw a pass down the middle. There were 3 maroon shirts waiting, and Constanzo hit the wrong shirt, and it was worn by number 17, William Thompson. Jackie Williams with a good getaway block for William Thompson on the return, who hauled it back out to the 45-yard line of Texas A&M University. So the Aggies get the ball on another turnover. With 9 seconds, make that 19 seconds gone in the fourth quarter. Shippen at quarterback. Aggies ball. And a keep by Shippen around up to the 50, down to the 45, and out of bounds the 43-yard line. Oh, Ledger Devane, beautiful faking by Shipman. Good block by the tight end Osborne, and Lionel Johnson and Steve Collier finally solved the defensive problem as they had to do some detective work to track down David Shipman, who did some great faking and went around the left side all the way to the Texas 43 for a first down for Texas A&M. That stopped the clock at 14:35 remaining in the game. The Aggies leading 10-7. They must have a victory here today to keep up their Cotton Bowl hopes. If Texas wins, Texas will go to the Cotton Bowl. It's a split six defense. The fullback Woodard takes it into the Texas defense to the 42-yard line. Woodard trying to gouge out some yardage. Boy, it was tough going as Tim Campbell and Ernest Lee and Rick Finlaw were all there to whack him down. They really warped him. And the ball is on the 41-yard line. He managed to carve off a 2-yard slice, but boy, he earned every inch of it. George Woodard, 6'1", 245, a freshman, 10th in the conference in rushing with 490 yards. He had about 56 yards in the first half to add to that. 2nd and 8 for the Aggies. Shipman fakes the fullback. He breaks the tackle. He runs to the 40. He runs to the 35. And he's driven to the turf on the 35-yard line of Texas. Skip Walker with a good block. Brad Shear and Rick Finlaw on the tackle at the Texas 35. It'll be third down. And about 2 to go. Our spotter this afternoon for Texas A&M, Jerry Wagner, taking the place of David Walker, the regular Texas Aggie spotter who is in St. Joseph Hospital. David, we hope you're out of the hospital and well right away. We miss you. And get out of there soon. Jeff Newman, our Texas spotter. Third down and 2. Hand off to Woodard, up the middle, fighting to the 33, and he's going to be close to the first down. Stopped by the firm of Finlaw, Johnson, Hamilton, Shiver, and Lee.
Up by the middle.
And it was at the 33-yard line, and it's almost a first down, and they're going to measure. The referee, Ken Faulkner, says, bring out the sticks. The clock shows 13 minutes and 1 second left in the game. The score 10-7, the Texas Aggies lead. They're ranked number 2. Here's the stretch of the chain. First down, Aggies. Dave, how about the first down situation?
Well, the Aggies have a bunch of them. That was their 15th, Connie. The Longhorns have 4 so far.
Okay. The ball is just outside the 33 of Texas. The Texas front 4, Burleson, Shearer, Lee, and Campbell. Wishbone backfield for Texas A&M. Full house wishbone. Split left end. The ball at the near hash. The split into the far hash. Flags on the play as it's a halfback counter over right guard to Skip Walker. He's tripped up on the line of scrimmage. Does a little cartwheel. And the whole play may be nullified. There is a preliminary signal of offside against Texas. And referee Ken Faulkner holding the ball, sighting in on the far sideline on the down indicator, and now he marches off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 yards against Texas. And sets it down on the 28-yard line of the University of Texas. It'll be 1st and 5 for Texas A&M. We have tremendous coverage of this game today. In addition to the widespread coverage on electronic media, there are writers here today from Chicago, Washington, Atlanta, various national magazines, and some 30 Texas newspapers. And the managing editor of the Bryant Eagle is our spotter and former sports editor, renowned Texas sports writer, Jerry Wagner. Okay, here we go. 1st and 5, the Aggies. And the ball is given to the second man through. Skip Walker on the belly play to left tackle, and he fights down close to the 26-yard line. Tim Campbell and Ernest Lee again there for the tackle. Ernest Lee has been in on a whole sack full of tackles this afternoon. He's 6'4", 240, a junior transfer from John Tyler High. And Tim Campbell, the defensive right end, is 5'11", 190, the younger brother of Earl Campbell. And Big Earl must have done most of the eating around the house because he weighs 230 and Tim weighs 190. They're only a year apart. Tim has a twin brother, Steve. They were born on July 4th. It's 2nd and about 3 for the Texas Aggies on the Texas 26. Activity in the neutral zone. Flags falling like autumn leaves. No snap. 11:37 to play. The ball is just outside the Texas 26. The officials convening for a penalty parley. Illegal procedure signal against Texas. That's going to be costly. 5-yard spanking against the Longhorns down to the 21 for illegal procedure. And that's a first Texas A&M. The Texas linebackers Hamilton, Lionel Johnson, and Finlaw on the 4 deep. Claiborne, Collier, Sarche, and Jeff. In the backfield for the Texas Aggies, Shippen at quarterback, Bean and Skip Walker of the hands, and George Woodard is the big bomber at fullback. They split the right end, Mike Floyd. Tight end on the left side. Here's an option pitch to Walker, gets the block from Bean, goes to the 20 on the far sideline of the 15, and curved at the 12 and out of bounds at the far side of the field. Stops the clock with 11:14 showing in the final quarter. Lionel Johnson drove the ball carrier out of bounds. It was Skip Walker carrying, going around the left end, circling the flank. He got a little bit of a block from Bubba Bean, the all-conference performer from Kirbyville, and it's the 1st and 10 for the Texas Aggies on the Texas 12. I beg your pardon, it's not a 1st and 10. It is 2nd down and about a half a yard to go. 2nd and about a half a yard to go, just inside the 12. Here come the Aggies to the line of scrimmage against approximately a 6'5" defense. And a handoff, and to the left side goes George Woodard inside the 10, down to about the 9 or the 8. He's definitely got the first down. Lee, Finlaw, and Campbell are the triumvirate of Texas tacklers. The ball is on the 9-yard line of the University of Texas. It's first down. It's goal to go for Texas A&M. The Aggies leading 10-7 with 11 minutes and 9 seconds remaining in the game, and the clock is ticking at 11:05, 11:04. Ticking toward the doom of the Texas Longhorns. Texas digging in now. The Aggies only 9 yards from Gloryville. They have a 10-7 lead. They smell 7 more. Shippen calls the signal. Shippen gets it to Woodard. Woodard moves at left guard. He's to the 5. He's down to the 1-yard line, and he almost made it for the touchdown. He moved into the end zone, but some part of his body had touched the ground at the 1-foot line, where Lionel Johnson gets credit for the tackle, and it is 2nd down and goal to go for the Aggies. And big George Woodard moved for 8.5 yards. The ball is on the 1-foot line of the University of Texas. The Texas defenders are in their own end zone. They are in big trouble. Here are the Aggies to the line of scrimmage. Split in. Shippen calling the signal. He gives it to Woodard at left guard.
6 more points for Texas A&M. Pandemonium at Kyle Field in College Station, Texas, as the Texas Aggies have moved into the lead 16-7. As George Woodard followed the getaway block of Bruce Welch and marched into the left guard at the center. Woodard comes off the field. Bucky Sams goes in for him. And Tony Franklin will attempt the extra point. Shipman will hold. Here are the signals, the strap, the tee, the toe. Bingo! Texas A&M 17, Texas 7, with 10 minutes and 5 seconds remaining in the game. There's a call timeout on the field. The score, Texas A&M 17, Texas 7, and here's Dave Smith. 82nd meeting between these two fine Texas universities. A&M 17, Texas 7. Here again is Connie Alexander. And the kickoff by Tony Franklin, and it's a low-line drive. Picked up on the 21 by Bazell. He runs to the 25, stops, starts again, goes over the 25 and the 27-yard line. They finally get him down back about the 18-yard line. Little Joe Bob Bazell, the smallest player in the conference at 148 pounds. Tenacious little rascal. Kevin Monk and Jim Hartman were the guys who finally arrested him. And boy, he didn't want to let him tackle him. See where they're going to rule the forward progress. They're spotting the ball down on the 27. The nose of it just inside the Texas 27. Now Texas is behind by 10 points with 9 minutes and 57 seconds to play, and they're facing the #1 defense in America. Against the ground game and total defense, it's number 2 against scoring. It has allowed 7 points a game, and so far this game it's allowed 7 points, and that came on a 64-yard punt return on a 64-yard pop by Raymond Claiborne. Back to pass is Constanzo. Cocks his arm, throws the bomb down the near sideline for Jackson. He's got it in a falling catch down on the 36-yard line of the Aggies. And Jackson and William Thompson almost get into a little hassle down there. Constanzo threw the bomb with the wind. Texas working with the wind in the fourth quarter. They rule that Alfred Jackson made the reception on the Aggie 37. He's a 6'1", 184-pound sophomore, recipient of 29 passes before today for 544 yards and 2 TDs to rank 4th in the conference. All right, it's 1st and 10. Texas on the Aggie 37 after that 40-yard gain. Split left end. Flags on the play. Here's a pitch out to Jimmy Walker. He's tripped up on the 40, careens and falls to the 35 of the Aggies. Lester Hayes gets the tackle. Jimmy Walker on the carry. That one shook him up a little. There was a flag on the play. Illegal procedure is being signaled against Texas. Now, it is possible that they did not have 7 men on the line of scrimmage. One of the Texas lads, when they came out of the huddle, he started to the right side, and then he came hurriedly over to the left side, and we didn't have time to see if there were 7 men on the line of scrimmage, but it is possible that is the illegal procedure infraction here, and it's going to cause a 5-yard penalty against the University of Texas. You must have at least 7 men on the line of scrimmage, 5 of whom are numbered between 50 and 79. We don't have any replay equipment here, so we can't tell you for sure. David Studdard is in at left tackle, replacing George James for the University of Texas. He's 244 sophomore from Pearsall. All right, a 5-yard penalty against Texas to the Aggie 42. It's 1st and 15. Constanzo on a play-action pass fires a quickie to the 33 to Alfred Jackson. He darts inside one tackler, is hit by another, and swept down on the 31 of the Texas Aggies, 4 yards away from a first down. Garth Tenable on the tackle, all-conference engineering major from Euless Trinity, Texas. 101 tackles, 58 unassisted, 16 for losses, gained 20 pounds since last year. And it's cloudy once more over Kyle Field. It's very cloudy for Texas with 8 minutes and 49 seconds remaining in the game of the fourth quarter. Here they are on 2nd down and 4 at the Aggie 31. Constanzo takes the snap. He gives it away to Campbell, and Campbell tries to gore the Aggie defense, gets to about the 30-yard line, maybe the 29, before Blake Schwartz and Robert Jackson and Ed Simonetti all are there to entrap him. We'll see where they put the ball down.
Spotted on the 29 of Texas A&M. It'll be 3rd down and 2 to go. 3rd and 2 for the University of Texas on the Aggie 29-yard line. 8:12 remaining in the game. The Aggies lead 17-7. Flagged on the play. Handoff going to Campbell again. Campbell hits left guard. He gets down to about the 28-yard line. They were flagged on the play. There appeared to be some activity before the snap. We will await the official signal. Illegal motion against Texas. That was on the 3rd down 2 play. The ball is laying on the 28-yard line. That would be shy of a 1st down by about a foot or so. The Aggie captain talking with the referee, Ken Faulkner, as Faulkner explains options, and the captain says, let's take the penalty. It moves the ball out to the Aggie 34, illegal motion, signal against Texas. And from that point, it'll be 3rd down and 6.5 to go. The line to gain is about the 27.5. The ball is on the 34 in Aggie territory. It is owned by the University of Texas at this moment with exactly 8 minutes to go. The clock ticking away. Texas A&M leading 17-7. Texas breaks the wishbone. Slot to the right, split left in. Hand off to Campbell. He goes turning up the middle to the 30-yard line. And Campbell was jolted hard. He got down to the 30-yard line. He's getting up slowly. Boy, that is a vicious Aggie defense. He took it to the 30. It'll be 4th down, 2.5. And Russell Erxleben comes on to the field. He's the punter and field goal kicker. Tackled by Jackson and Fields. Erxleben is on the field. He's going to go for a field goal from the 37 at the near hash mark. He'll have the wind at his back. It's a 47-yard effort. He has kicked 9 out of 12 field goals. A 47-yard attempt with the wind by the big freshman. Here's the field goal try. It's on the tee. He kicks it. It is going toward the goalpost. It is close. It is good. A 47-yard field goal by Erxleben that barely clears the crossbar. And the score is Texas A&M 17, Texas 10. And here's Big Dave Smith.
All right, Connie, a 47-yard field goal with 7 minutes left in our ball game. Texas now 10, Texas A&M 17. It's the 82nd time that these two fine schools have met on the gridiron. This year, coming into the game, the Texas A&M Aggies ranked the number 2 team in the nation. The University of Texas Longhorns ranked the number 5th team in the nation. The largest crowd ever to witness a football game at College Station Kyle Field, viewing this one this afternoon. And what an exciting ball game it has been from start to 7 minutes remaining. Texas A&M 17, Texas 10. Let's take a moment, Connie, to review the statistics quickly. Texas A&M now has 17 first downs. The University of Texas Longhorns have a total of 5. Very little passing in this afternoon's game. The Aggies have tried 6 passes. They've completed 3 for about 35 yards. The University of Texas Longhorns have attempted 6. They've completed 4 for about 60 yards. The Aggies have had to punt only twice. One a 50-yard punt, another a 21-yard punt. The Longhorns have punted 4 times. There have been very few penalties in the ball game, but let's go back to the action with Connie Alexander.
Erxleben kicks off with the wind, and it carries 80 yards. And it'll be a touchback of the Aggies' ball, 1st and 10 at the 20-yard line in Aggie territory as they'll be moving into the wind. With 7 minutes and 1 second remaining to be played, Texas A&M leads 17-10. Now the question is, can they eat up 7 minutes on the clock? It's a tough assignment. They lead by 7 points. They're moving into a stiff south wind. It must be 25 miles per hour. It's about to blow the flags off the staff. 4-3 defense, wishbone backfield, Shipman in the cockpit. He hands it off. Wait a minute, there's a fumble. It rolls out loose, and Skip Walker recovers on the 22. Boy, the ball popped out of a mass of players, and Skip Walker, the right halfback, came charging up and fell on it. Rick Burleson was the man who separated the ball carrier from the ball. David Shipman lost it, and Skip Walker saved it. And it was good for a gain of 2 yards. It was all over. 2nd down and 8 to go for the Aggies at their own 22-yard line. They come to the line of scrimmage. Texas entrenching with 4 men up front. Strong linebacker up on the line of scrimmage. It's a pure 4-3 with an inverted right safety over toward the split end. Shipman runs option left, pitches out at the last minute to Walker, who drops the ball. It bounces along. He finally pushes it out of bounds at the 27 as he tries to retrieve it at the far sideline. Skip Walker trying to receive the ball on the pitch out, going around left end. He juggled it. It was bouncing along in front of him, and it went out of bounds just outside the 26 at the far sideline. So it's 3rd and 4. So the Aggies have gained 6 yards on 2 fumbled balls, one on a fumble and one on a loose pitch out. And it's 3rd and 4 at their 26. 17-10 the Aggies lead, 6:14 to play. 4-5 defense, actually a 9-man line with 2 deep secondary.
Big hole, 40, trying to get a block, to the 50, to the 40, to the 30, to the 20, breaks the tackle, to the 10, to the 5, caught and thrown down on the 1-yard line. Raymond Cleveland finally tackled him inside the 1-yard line. Bubba Bean somehow found a hole in the middle. It was as wide as the Milky Way. You could have driven 3 trucks through it, and he went right up through that hole, and he went something like about 72 or 73 yards to the lip of the cup. He took it down to the 6-inch line of the University of Texas. Key block by Frank Myers, the right guard, and Dennis Swilley, the right tackle, that opened the door for Bubba Bean. And when he got across the line of scrimmage, he was suddenly in the wide open spaces. And now a timeout is being called by Texas A&M. The Texas Aggies call a timeout and stop the clock with 5:58 remaining in the game. The Aggies lead 17-10. There's a call timeout on the field. The score, Aggies 17, Longhorns 10, and here's Dave Smith.
Where 5 minutes and 58 seconds remain to be played in the 82nd meeting between A&M and the University of Texas. Bubba Bean has just carried the ball 72 yards for the Texas A&M Aggies. The ball rests inside the Texas 1. Here's Connie.
Okay, they're at the line of scrimmage. Shipman calling the signals. He gives it to the big fullback Woodard, cracking at left guard. He is very close to the goal line. No indication that he got there for the touchdown. Just inches away from Royal Soil. They stop him at the half-yard line. If anything, he may have lost about 6 inches. George Woodard, the fullback, carrying. Tackled by Lee, Campbell, and Shearer. Second down, goal to go for Texas A&M, leading 17-10, 5.5 minutes to go. Here they come to the line of scrimmage. Split right in, 6-5 goal line defense, wishbone configuration. Hand off to Woodard, the fullback, driving again at left guard. He's fighting in there, and he did not get to the goal line. Let's see where they spotted down. Campbell, Finlaw, and Lee on the tackle. The Texas defense pushes them back a few more inches. All right, the ball is about 30 inches from the goal line. They lost about another foot. It's 3rd down, goal to go. 4 minutes and 52 seconds left. Bucky Sam's in at fullback, Shipman at quarterback, the halfbacks Bean and Walker. Here they come to the line of scrimmage. 3rd down, goal to go from the 1-yard line. Split right in, 6-5 goal line defense. Wishbone configuration. Activity before the snap. 3 or 4 flags on the play. Look like both sides moving before the snap. We will watch the official signal. The score is 17-10. Texas Aggies leading. A big conference on the field, deep in Texas territory. Illegal procedure signal against Texas. That will mean half the distance to the goal line penalty. Referee Ken Falker just slides the ball, the length of the ball toward the goal line. And so the nose of the ball is just a little over a foot away from touchdown territory. 4:36 to play and the clock is going. George Woodard back in at fullback. Here come the Aggies to the line of scrimmage against a 6-5 defense. Again, the wishbone configuration. Shipman fakes, he keeps, he pitches the Bean. He is hit from the 2-yard line and dropped from the 2-yard line, and it'll bring up 4th down. And Bean tries to go around right in. And a Texas lad on the deck laying there. Looks like Brad Shearer. So it's Glenn Blackwood. Glenn Blackwood, who was shaken up, a defensive halfback. So it's going to be 4th down and goal to go at the 2-yard line as Blackwood was shaken up on the tackle. As Bubba Bean was tackled on a pitch as they tried the option to the right side. The score, Texas A&M 17, the University of Texas 10. 4 minutes and 10 seconds remaining in the game. Bubba Bean carried the ball 73 yards to the Texas 1-foot line. In 3 downs, the University of Texas defense has pushed the Aggies back out to the 2-yard line in a spirited goal line stand. Glenn Blackwood up on his feet now and walking toward the bullpen, the Texas bench. It's going to be 4th down. It's going to be goal to go. The Aggies leading 17-10. This is one of the biggest plays of the season in collegiate football coming up right here. All right, 4th down. Goal to go from the 2-yard line, and they're going to go for a field goal. Shipman will attempt a field goal from the 9 at the near hash mark, or rather Franklin kicking. It's on the way. There are flags. Franklin attempting a 19-yard field goal. There are flags. Texas was offside, and it will be good. And the score is 20-10. The Texas Aggies lead. Shipman kicking a 19-yard field goal from the near hash mark. Texas was offside. The Aggies refused the penalty, and Franklin's field goal attempt out of the kick of the hold of Shipman is good, and Bujnak was shaken up on the play. Glenn Bujnak, who was recruited by many schools, including Notre Dame, 253.65, shaken up on the play. The score, Texas A&M 20, Texas 10 with 3:57 left on the clock, and the Aggies will be kicking off to Texas. We haven't heard from Jim Wiggins for a few minutes. Jim, you're still down there.
Yes, and I'm amazed at the fact that we played 12 weeks of football, Connie, 60 ball games, and we still don't know who's going to play Georgia in the Cotton Bowl. All of that applause in the background is for this Aggie team as they move back into position. We do know that one of the teams is going to be in the Cotton Bowl, either the Aggies, the Longhorns, or the University of Arkansas. The other two variously in the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl against Colorado or the Southern California in the Liberty Bowl, except that it will not necessarily be respectively when we mention those three. It'll be either Arkansas, A&M, or Texas.
Left as Stacy Bryan makes the tackle for the Aggies. Put the ball on the Texas 21-yard line. 10 points behind. 3 minutes and 50 seconds away. Texas needs a victory today to go to the Cotton Bowl. If they could win today, they would be 7-0 and win the conference championship outright. If they lose today, they have no chance of going to the Cotton Bowl. They'll definitely go to the Bluebonnet Bowl. They break their wishbone. Costanzo fakes. Costanzo pitches out to Jackson on an end around to the 20, the 25, the 30. He cuts inside to the 35 and is nailed on his own 39-yard line. Costanzo giving it to split right end Alfred Jackson coming around left end. George James with a key block, a heady player from Sherman, and Robert Jackson once more makes the tackle. The ball is placed down on the Texas 38-yard line. Texas behind and in trouble and on the ropes. See if I can single out Darrell Royal along the far sideline. There he is, with the headphones on, sunglasses, arms folded across his chest. His team now is on the broken wishbone. Costanzo back to pass. He's throwing for Jackson, and it may have been intercepted. It is intercepted at the 37 of the Aggies. There were two Aggies there, and Jackson was the lone receiver, and Jackie Williams made the interception. He had 3 interceptions before today, and he has just made a key interception at the 37-yard line of the Aggies with 3 minutes and 22 seconds left in the game. And Dave, the turnovers have been a factor here this afternoon. How do they total out?
Indeed they have, Connie. In fact, the experts were saying the team that made the most mistakes in this afternoon's game would probably lose the ball game. Texas has 4 turnovers. They've had 2 passes intercepted by the Aggies, and they've lost 2 fumbles. The Aggies have lost 2 fumbles to the University of Texas.
All right. right, the Aggies own it, 1st and 10 at their own 37 with a 10-point lead. Shipman gives it to Woodard. And Woodard thunders up the middle. And he gets to about the 39-yard line before Shearer and Ferguson and Lee are there for the tackle. The Aggies leading 20-10. The clock is ticking. 3:07 to go. Now, if the Aggies win this afternoon, they'll have a record of 6-0. And they next Saturday will play Arkansas with a record of 5-1. If the Aggies would win against Arkansas, the Aggies would go to the Cotton Bowl. If they would lose against Arkansas, there would then be a 3-way tie, and Arkansas would go to the Cotton Bowl. Uh-oh. Some activity before the snap. The big fullback, Woodard, started too soon. He came out of the starting blocks in a hurry. He was the only guy moving. Somebody from the defense jolted David Shipman, the Aggie quarterback. And there's going to be a ticket and a 5-yard fine against Texas A&M. It moves the ball back now to the 34-yard line. Illegal procedure. So it'll be 2nd down and about 14 to go. Make it 13. 2nd down and 13 to go for the Texas Aggies. 2:35 left in the game. The Aggies lead by 10. Hand off to Walker, and Walker trying to go over the left side. Meets trouble right on the line of scrimmage, and he's dropped on the 34-yard line. Brad Shearer traps him on the 34 of Texas A&M. It's 3rd down and 13. Ernest Lee, the big defensive right tackle for the University of Texas, gets up and limps into the defensive huddle. The clock ticks. 2:06, 2:05, 2:04. The score, Texas A&M 20, Texas 10. Texas A&M ranked number 2 in America, Texas number 5. Robert Rickman back in for Lee, a defensive right tackle now. Shipman has the snap. He gives it to Skip Walker on the inside belly over left tackle to the 39-yard line. It's not near enough for the 1st down. It's going to bring up a punting situation with 1:42 left. Lionel Johnson was the key tackler for the University of Texas. 1:37 on the clock is ticking. The Aggies lead by 10. It looks bad for the University of Texas. The ball on the 39-yard line of Texas A&M. The Aggie defense comes off, and they are saluted by the partisan crowd here. Almost 57,000 folks, 44,000 of them Aggie fans. 13,000 from the University of Texas. Stanley is ready to punt into the wind. Shoulder high snap, gets the kick away. Low, short, wobbling spiral, and the fair catch made by Jett on his own 42 with 1:08 left in the game. 68 seconds to play. The Aggies lead 20-10. A 19-yard punt into that stiff wind. All right, Texas must pull off a miracle now. We're having a timeout call for both teams. And we just quickly want to say that fall is a great time to explore the outdoor wonders of Texas, but if you tow a travel trailer, a boat, or other recreational vehicle, learn and practice the basic safety rules of trailering. Just a reminder from the troopers of your Texas Department of Public Safety. Well, the Texas band hasn't given up in the background. They hope their team hasn't either. The nose of the ball is on the Texas 43. Texas will be operating 1st and 10. They have been without the services of Marty Akins, the starting quarterback, for almost the entire game. He was replaced by Ted Constanzo. A reminder that this broadcast is authorized under rights granted by the 8 schools of the Southwest Athletic Conference to Exxon Company, USA. And it is intended for the private enjoyment of our audience. Any recording, recreating from, retransmission, or other use of the broadcast without express written consent of Exxon Company USA is prohibited. The play-by-play and color announcers for this Southwest Conference football broadcast are selected and paid by Exxon Company USA. Here's a long pass to Alfred Jackson, broken up at the last moment by Pat Thomas on the 18-yard line. That one carried about 55 yards with the wind. As the quarterback, Constanzo, went to the heavy artillery. Constanzo with a Herculean throw. It'll be 2nd and 10. The clock stopped with 1:02 remaining. 2nd and 10 for Texas at their 42.5-yard line. Constanzo at quarterback. Raylan Wyatt the left half. Campbell is the fullback. Jimmy Walker the right half. 2nd and 10. Constanzo with a 2-step drop, and he fires the pass. Intercepted at midfield. And Thompson, who skyjacks the pass. It was sort of a misfire off of the hand of Constanzo. It was wobbly, and it missed the target, Jackson, and it went into the anxious arms of William Thompson, who makes the reception. How many interceptions today, Dave?
That's a total of 5 Texas turnovers. Texas has had 3 passes intercepted, and they've lost a couple of fumbles. The Aggies have lost 2 fumbles to the Longhorns. A total of 7 turnovers in the ball game so far, Connie. And this place is just about to come unglued.
It certainly is. The Texas Aggies have a 1st and 10 after William Thompson's interception on the Texas 48 on a Constanzo pass intended for Alfred Jackson. It was a 2-step drop and a quick pass, and the Aggies own the ball. And Shipman calls the signals now, and Shipman hands it off to the fullback, and he gets a yard or 2 down near the 46-yard line. It looked like he was trying to protect the ball and not really go bombing in there too hard and take a chance on a fumble. Campbell and Rickman on the tackle, 42 seconds to go. The ball is on the 46-yard line of Texas. 2nd down and 8 to go. 35 seconds left in the game. Texas A&M taking a lot of time in the huddle as they lead 20 to 10. 28 seconds to go. The Aggies to the line of scrimmage. Texas Longhorns in a 4-3 front. A handoff to Woodard again, off left guard, inside the 45 to the 43. 15 seconds left. A 10-point lead, 13 seconds to go. We're going to just pick up the stadium sounds. Here we go. Texas A&M has won, and that is the end of the game with the final score, the Texas Aggies 20, the Texas Longhorns 10. Back at Kyle Field, Connie Alexander with Dave Smith and Jim Wiggins. Texas is on the way to the Bluebonnet Bowl as they have lost today. Texas A&M is still on the road to the Cotton Bowl. Let's go down to the celebration and Jim Wiggins.
I've never seen anything like it, Connie. In all my years of following football, I have never seen such an emotionally charged up group as these Aggies are. Chuck Moser of the coaching staff crying unashamedly a moment ago as he vaulted over the seat on his way to the dressing room. Tears rolling down his cheeks. He could scarcely see where he was going, hugging everybody in sight. Nobody has left the stand. All of these Aggie fans still in place. Look across the way. East and west, nobody is leaving. Nobody for the exits. The field is covered. Aggie fans with a finger in the air saying, we're number 1. The team can't get into the dressing room. I've never seen such emotion, such a tremendously excitement-packed finish in my life as I have in this ball game. And we're right here in the midst of it. I rather imagine, Connie, when we talk about the fact that sometimes we have to learn to understand and appreciate classical music or great art, somehow I feel like most Texans are born with an almost instinctive appreciation for this great Aggie-Longhorn rivalry. And whether you take sides or not actively, you've got to understand and appreciate that the Aggies have waited a long time, and it's a great year for them. And I'm sure there's not a Longhorn fan in the world who's not saying graciously they played a great game and they deserve to win. And the Texas Longhorn fans, on the other hand, who still are in their places on the far side, disappointed certainly that they did not win today's football game. They played a beautiful game, in spite of the fact the number 1 quarterback out of it. But somehow or other, Connie, on the near side, you're going to have to make the total picture a little more objective later on, because right now we too are caught up in the emotion of the moment as the Aggies with their hands in the air saying, we're number 1. Tears in the eyes of many of them here are saying this is a great day for them. It's deep in the memories of a whole bunch of followers of these great teams, and I must say, Connie, etched in mine as well. Been a proud day for 2 marvelous football teams and the happiest day in the lives of many of these Texas Aggies. I'm proud to be a part of it. Connie?
Jim Wiggins, excellent, beautiful wrap-up down on the field. And we repeat, the Texas Aggies have defeated the University of Texas by a final score of 20 to 10. And the Texas Aggies still have a shot at the Cotton Bowl. They have to defeat Arkansas next week in order to get there. Here's Dave Smith.
All right,
Connie, and for the first time in 8 years, the Texas Aggies have defeated the University of Texas Longhorns. The last time was 1967, when the Aggies went on that year to the Cotton Bowl on January 1 of 68. Connie, I can imagine by this time Georgia is getting a little nervous about who they're going to play in the Cotton Bowl on the first day of our bicentennial year in America. The 5th-ranked Texas Longhorns will play in the Astro Bluebonnet Bowl against 9th-ranked Colorado 2 days after Christmas down in Houston. Now, 2nd-ranked Texas A&M has one more stumbling block in their way before they know whether they'll host the Georgia Bulldogs in the Cotton Bowl on New Year's Day as champions of the Southwest Conference, or will play in Memphis' Little Liberty Bowl. That one big stumbling block is Arkansas in Little Rock a week from tomorrow afternoon. Now, if the Aggies can roast the Porkers, they'll own it outright for the second time in 9 seasons. On the other hand, if they can't stop the Razorbacks, the chase will end in a 3-way tie for the first time since 1959. And since Arkansas hasn't been to Dallas on New Year's Day since 1965, and the Aggies and Texas have, the Porkers will chase the Georgia Bulldogs on the dawning of the new year in Dallas. And the Aggies will go bowling in Memphis Liberty Bowl. The Aggie win today gives Emory Ballard his first victory over his old boss, Darrell Royal, and makes him only the 4th active coach in the Southwest Conference who has defeated every other member. This afternoon, by virtue of beating the University of Texas Longhorns, Emory Ballard joins the elite group of Royal of Texas, Grant Taff of Baylor, and Frank Broyles of Arkansas. These coaches have now beaten all of their other opponents in the Southwest Conference at one time or another. The Baylor Bears and the Rice Owls will finish out their campaign in Houston tomorrow afternoon. And Connie, you and John Smith will be there, I'm sure, to watch all of the action. And we would suggest that folks in that area be sure and see it if they can. If they can't, tune in the Exxon Football Network. The Houston Cougars conclude their independent football schedule against Tulsa tomorrow night. And beginning next year, the bicentennial year, they'll vie for the Southwest Conference crown. The Longhorns conclude the year then with a 9-2 record, 6-1 in the league. The Aggies are 10-0 for the season, 6-0 in the conference, with one more to go next week against Arkansas with an 8-2 season showing and a 5-1 league record, having lost only to Texas earlier in the season. And Connie, just like this afternoon, 1 week from tomorrow afternoon ought to be another real seat squirmer in Little Rock, Arkansas. Connie, you got some facts and figures there for us.
Well, David, these are hotter than hot off the press. Jerry Waggoner, who has been very gracious to spot for us today, the managing editor of the Bryant Eagle, has just gone down and gotten the official statistics. These have not been run off the mimeograph, but now I see you have some of the mimeographed ones, so why don't you just start reading them, Dave, and maybe we can just sort of interchange commentary on
let's talk about it for just a moment. I wanted to see how many yards the Aggies got rushing this afternoon. They carried the ball 75 times rushing. They gained 316 yards. That is a new team record for Texas A&M. They set a new rushing record last year of 2,942. They needed 278 to break that record this afternoon in rushing. They did. They had 316 yards rushing. The Longhorns were held to 6 first downs. That's the fewest first downs they've had all year. Texas A&M had a total of 18. Texas rushed 34 times for 113 yards. The Aggies rushed 75 yards for that record-shattering 316 yards, as we said. Texas attempted 9 passes. They completed 4 for 66 yards. The Aggies attempted 4 passes. They completed 3 for 25 yards. So total offense, Texas carried the ball 43 times offensively this afternoon and were held to 179 yards. A&M, 79 carries, or they handled the ball 79 times. They had a total of 341 yards. Texas punted 4 times for a punt average of 32.7 yards per punt. The Aggies punted 3 times for an average of 30.3 yards per punt. Texas problem turnovers this afternoon. They lost 2 of 4 fumbles.
And as we said a moment ago, they had 3 of their passes intercepted by the Aggies. The Aggies lost 2 of their 5 fumbles. Texas was penalized 7 times for 48 yards. The Aggies 4 times for 20 yards. Campbell of Texas carried 15 times this afternoon for 40 yards. Bean of Texas A&M 17 times to be the leading ball carrier with 126 yards. Connie, you had some comments you wanted to make.
Well, I just, while you were going through this statistic, I was just trying to come up with a little bit of information to look a little bit more in depth at them. The Texas Aggies ran 79 plays, and the University of Texas ran 43. That would mean that the Aggies controlled the ball 65% of the time this afternoon. The great Aggie defense, which had allowed 67 yards per game rushing, today allowed the University of Texas 113 yards rushing and contained the University of Texas rushing attack, which was 5th in America with 330 yards average rushing per game before today. Another interesting thing, the Texas Longhorns went to the air 9 times. They had 7 completions. The trouble was, 4 completions went to their side and 3 completions to the wrong
That was
shirt.
the problem, yes.
With 3 interceptions and 4 completions out of 9 passes, and a total of 5 turnovers by Texas against 2 for the Texas Aggies. And just coming into our booth, a very distinguished gentleman, the executive director of the Cotton Bowl, Mr. Wilbur Evans. And Wilbur, you still got to wait a few days to see who's going to be hosting at the Cotton Bowl.
That's right, Connie, and this is a wonderful situation for the Cotton Bowl. And what I'm going to say, I don't want to in any way minimize our appreciation for what Exxon has done for us through the years, but I would like to point out that, you know, we had the exposure last night on national television of Georgia, a great performance. We had a great exposure today on national television of these 2 teams, and next week A&M and Arkansas will play for the Cotton Bowl role, and it will be nationally televised. So we're getting a lot of great exposure.
Well, that is great, and the Georgia team will be coming in with a record of 9-2, which will be a great record, and I think you still have some tickets available, don't you, Wilbur?
Yes, we do have, and I don't think we have any problem getting rid of them now. With Arkansas and Texas A&M, both will buy every ticket that we possibly could come up with.
Wilbur, you go down to a week from tomorrow now, where Arkansas and Texas A&M will be battling, and the winner of that game is going to go to the Cotton Bowl. And, of course, that gets into a situation where if the Aggies win, they have it locked up with a perfect record. If they lose, it's a 3-way tie with 3 teams with 6-1 records. Arkansas has not been since, I think, 1964, the longest time, therefore they would get to go.
That's right. And as a matter of fact, they would wind up with a 9-2 record, which would be the same as Georgia. Of course, Aggies would be 11-0 and a shot for the national championship if they can beat Arkansas.
Dave, you may have some question you'd like to ask Wilbur here.
Our boss keeps telling us 1 minute, so Wilbur, I would like to ask you one thing. How's the book doing?
Well, I think the sales will be stimulated a little by what happened here today, but seriously, it's doing quite well, and I hope to be available for autograph parties in Dallas or in Little Rock, for that matter.
Great, Wilbur. Great to have you with us. And now here for the final wrap-up is Dave Smith. That was Wilbur Evans.
Thank you, Wilbur, and to you, Connie. This afternoon, Bubba Bean moved to the 5th place in all-time rushing in the Southwest Conference. He needed 83 yards to pass Alvin Maxson, who was in 5th place. He played for SMU in 1971 and 73, so with 17 carries and 126 yards, Bubba Bean becomes the 5th leading ball carrier in the Southwest Conference history. The final score, once again, Texas A&M defeats Texas 20-10.